Welcome in to the airing of the grievances. Starts it different day. It's a very long show title, but there's no true fantasy implications this week. We say it every year at this time of year. If your league plays in week, it's now 18. Just find another league. I've already had my dad tell me he's leaving 2 leagues because, quote, people are bitches. So that was his quote. I have the text, and I got a good giggle out of that. But we have a slew of anywhere between 10 to 100 guests. Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't schedule them, but they're all awesome. I believe all of them, if not most of them, have been on one of our shows previously. They will be here for about 5 to 10 minutes, getting anything and everything off of their chest from this season. And we also encourage you to do that as well in the chat, because we will bring that up as well. Let's get into it.
That was weird. Welcome in to Start Sit Different Day, where we are all sitting and nobody is starting because, like Joe said, if you are in a fantasy league who plays through week 18, you just need a new league.
Excellent.
Because that's ridiculous.
Excellent play on words. I loved it.
Thank you. Sometimes I'm good at that.
Not usually.
Josh is muted.
Oh, fuck. Never mind.
Great start.
Never mind.
It's not like you've been doing this for 6 years. Good
Yeah.
start.
Joe, I have to know, what is Lou's problem? What are these people being little bitches about?
Hold on. Before Joe gets into that, we all got to meet Lou like 2 weeks ago, and there's a reason he's our favorite Zollo.
Oh, yeah, virtually, not in person.
Well, no, but it's the first time
I've met Lou in person.
Well, you know what? Shut up, Joe.
I was like,
Josh, whoever you are.
I was like, when were you guys at my house?
Joe has certainly met Lou in person.
my dad threatened to walk around naked in the background. So it's classic.
I think YouTube would flag that.
Okay. He said, starting a new fantasy football league because I'm leaving his buddy's league because all they do is bitch and complain and don't pay.
Okay.
All right.
And he said, rule number 1, no bitching or complaining. And I said, I'm in, but I will exclusively bitch and complain the whole time. There you go.
Knew that was coming.
I feel like he's tuned into our show, so he knew the bitching and complaining was coming.
Well, here's his grievance, and I'm going to read it word for word. Fucking guys in his buddy's league complaining because I had the final 2 teams split the pot because they canceled the Bills-Cincinnati game. And the one guy who was winning was up by 10 points, had Mixon and Evan McPherson. Okay. The other team had Burrow and Higgins. And he told him the guy told him that he should win because he was ahead going into the canceled game. And my dad told him, you would have lost if it played out, so you should be happy it's a split pot. Which I told him, yes, he would have gotten his doors blown off because McPherson can't kick right now and Mixon's yards per carry. Well, we have better yards per carry than Joe Mixon this season. So there you go. There's your first grievance, everybody.
I love it. I feel like we're going to get a lot of grievances about championships.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure. But before we get into all of that, speaking of the Cincinnati Bills game, we at Club Fantasy here just want to state for the record that we all love football. Football is part of our everyday life. It's why we're here. It's why we do what we do. We also understand that football is dangerous and can be dangerous. And so we are all thrilled with the progress that Damar Hamlin is making and very grateful to the medical staff, both at the Bills medical staff and in Cincinnati, those hospitals and doctors who used the knowledge that they learned and gained and put it to good use. So we are very happy to see Damar Hamlin on the mend. I heard he FaceTimed his team yesterday, and going into the championships, I'm sure that was just a big morale boost for all of them. And regardless of what happens, my heart still breaks for T. Higgins because I can't even imagine how that felt for him. Yeah, we all know he didn't do it on purpose, but
well,
which
fuck
is ridiculous.
Bart Scott. Fuck Bart Scott. A good buddy of mine is a enormous Bengals fan, and apparently Bart Scott has had it out for the Bengals for numerous years, and he finds ways just to like shit on the Bengals, but to anyway say this had anything to do with T. Higgins is a trash take. I'm not going to get into the Skip Bayless thing. Some people got in their feelings about it. It is what it is. The Bart Scott thing is the egregious thing. That's all I'm going to say about it. Fuck Bart Scott from now until the day he dies. Like, fuck Bart Scott. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you have any amount of expendable cash, you should bet it on the Bills winning the Super Bowl. So
certainly bet it on the Bills boat racing the fucking Patriots.
Listen, we need the Bills to lose this weekend so we can get a wild card spot so we can lose in the first round.
I'm telling you, if I had
it's not going to happen. Absolutely not.
If I had any amount of expendable cash, I would put it on the Bills winning the Super Bowl. Teams that go through tragedy, teams that go through tragedy win all the time. Astros, Hurricane, Ray Lewis retires. Not really tragedy, but he's retiring. New Orleans, Super Bowl.
No, Scampers wants you to turn your light on.
Oh, yeah, one moment. It doesn't, you can't see it. Like,
you can't see it at all. It's not bright fucking fluorescent.
But you
Listen,
can't
I understand
tell that
you
says
can't read
on.
it, but that's besides the point.
You can't tell that says on. Red Sox, Boston bombing shooting. Worst team in 2013, best team in 2014, worst team in 2015. You cannot tell me the Bills are not winning the Super Bowl this year. It is set in stone. They're winning it.
Hey, the Yankees made it to the World Series after 9/11 and somehow found a way to lose. So, I'm just saying they can't.
Yeah,
lose.
well, the Yankees are a trash organization. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, 27 World Championships. And
terrible fan.
And there it is.
Terrible.
It only took him 7 minutes into this show to talk about the Yankees' 27 World Series rings. Ryan, you brought up something earlier, and you mentioned trash and the trash organization. And who do we have but trash sandwiches?
Oh my god!
I love that segue.
I was really hoping you would do that because I was thinking that in my head. So
Yes.
Kudos.
That's what makes us great at
my
hosting,
brain
Joe.
like, oh yeah.
I was gonna add you right then, but I looked at you and you weren't there, and I was like, okay, well, this is gonna have to wait. But I'm still making that segue.
I felt weird, like with the camera on and everything, as y'all are just like on air, and I'm just lurking in the background. But anyways, hi. Thank you so much for having me on.
Ryan lurks in the foreground, so
I'm not fully shaved, but when I have this mustache, I just look like the word "lurk" in the dictionary.
It's true. Yeah. Ariel, how are you?
Creep.
I am doing really well, albeit with some grievances about this fantasy season.
All right, well,
the purpose of this show. What do you know?
Yeah.
So let's have them. What are your grievances for this season?
Okay. Yes. I'm going to get started right off the bat,
Do it.
with Jonathan Taylor, which I think is probably an obvious grievance for like everyone. He was going into the season and I was like, you can see the case for the 101. I love it. I don't think I had the 101 pick in any draft because I just have bad luck with that kind of thing. I probably would have taken him there though if I had it. So like, I guess I'm glad that I didn't, but I have him in other leagues, dynasty, whatever. He is currently RB 30 overall, 19 in points per game. Like that's a huge disappointment. I get injuries. Injuries are awful. I'm glad that you mentioned the DeMar Hamlin situation. Like you can't predict those kinds of things. It's bad. But he only finished in the top 12 in 3 weeks.
So that's where your grievance makes sense. Cause a lot of people are going to shit on Jonathan Taylor, and you kind of hit the nail on the head that you can't predict injuries. But we could not predict how bad the Colts were going to be. Yeah. Like it was not supposed to be this bad. And the 3 top 12 finishes, and it was basically the games where he scored touchdowns. So.
Yeah, and you can't count on that. And I was mad. Anyways,
Facts.
I got my grievances. I'm going to keep it going with the last name Taylor, Zach Taylor, because I'm still mad about the T. Higgins. Will he? Won't he play? And not playing, and that. Like that hurt me. That hurt me in my core, and it hurt me in my fantasy lineups. If you say he's playing, put him on the fucking field in my lineup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can swear. Don't be shy.
Great.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know the sneaky girls are coming on later. Girls, if you're listening,
They're fine.
Earmuffs.
They've heard it all by now, I'm sure.
Their dad is smart, so he's likely not airing this because he knows how club fantasy can be. So
Totally fair. Yeah, he's a smart guy. Got grievances with that. I'm going to get specific on this one and talk DeAndre Swift's goal line usage, because that was annoying also every single time. Like, Jamal Williams is a good guy, and I don't begrudge him from getting things, but 15 touchdowns for Jamal Williams and 5 for DeAndre Swift. And, like, it's, again, one of those, if they're at the same draft capital, like, great, you got a steal on Jamal Williams. Cool. If you took Swift at, like, I don't know, those first few rounds, it's sad. It's disappointing. I'm sad. Again, injuries. I get it. But yeah.
See, I wouldn't even throw that one under injuries, but I have a question for you. It's something Josh and I touched on a little bit on this a couple of Mondays ago show. Jamal Williams is a free agent. How quickly do you fall into the DeAndre Swift trap again next year if Jamal Williams is not a Detroit Lion?
Immediately.
Ooh.
Immediately.
Honestly, if I get burnt by a player, I'm like always a little draft shy. Josh, if you were talking, I think you're
Hey,
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I keep coughing in the background, so like I subconsciously just mute it, so I'm not like hacking on air. But like this is what everybody's gonna do. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Jamal Williams is there, 15 rushing touchdowns up for grabs." Right? That's
how it works.
So
The
DeAndre,
sandwich is getting some love here.
Thanks. Yeah, those vacated targets, man. No. Yeah, no, it's hard to say. I think he's definitely, if Williams isn't back, like, I still don't think he's going to get that same draft capital as he did, just because we've all been burnt. But also, like, there's hope. There's always that hope, and I am good at making the same mistakes again. So we'll see.
as with Keenan Allen, I am ready to be hurt again.
Yes.
I am ready.
I know.
He's too good. He's too good.
Well, and like when you see those flashes and you're like, this player is great, they can totally do it, we're going to have a good time. And then it's just that disappointment.
Yeah.
Also disappointing. I'm just going to keep going through my list of grievances. Playoff Josh Jacobs. Only playoff Josh Jacobs, but playoff Josh Jacobs. Like, he definitely knocked me out of some playoffs, some tournaments. Why are you the RB3 overall, and then you just poop all over our playoff lineups?
Oh, it's the Raiders.
Okay.
That's the Josh McDaniel special.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, because Devontae Adams was the same way until week 17. He was
know.
terrible in weeks 15 and 16.
Until God, Jarrett Stidham gets under center for some reason.
Stiddy.
God, he was terrible. Still shocked by that performance, but yeah.
I mean, this is why, like, I love the chaos in fantasy football, but it's a grievance of mine. Like, I love watching the chaos objectively, and then I hate when the chaos is happening in my lineup.
Yeah,
so, like, also playoff Justin Jefferson or week 17 Justin Jefferson, that hurt.
Yeah. That was the worst one. I had Justin Jefferson in a league that I rode pretty well the whole season and went up against Mike Evans. And I'm like, no, those performances are supposed to be flipped.
Yeah. I had two finals teams that were literally on the shoulders of Saquon and Justin Jefferson.
Oh, that's tough.
I'm like, are you fucking serious?
You know how you don't get hurt in a championship? You don't even make it.
You don't make it?
You don't even make it because your teams decided to yak on themselves all season. So
it's
Joe,
the work smarter, not harder mentality, right, Joe? Is that it?
Yeah.
Joe, that's how Ryan and Josh felt in the Scott Fishbowl.
Exactly.
Yeah. I knew. I'm happy I made the top 300 in Scott Fish. I knew.
Oh
for a
yeah,
fact
heck yeah!
I made the top 2,500. I think. I'm pretty happy with that.
I think it was like just outside top 300, like 330 or something like that.
Oh, hell yeah. Well,
yeah,
welcome to the club.
I was like
Welcome to
just
the club.
outside too, like 23, 17 or something like that.
Exactly. No, but those late season performances, they hurt. I guess also while we're throwing people under the bus, players, and I'll also throw our fantasy friends, because I had a playoff team that was riding and it was really hot and I was doing really well. And I had so many Eagles on it, and that has not worked out well in this end. And I was pulling through and I was in the championships, and our dear friend Britt Flynn, I have been number one in this league every single week, or at least like since pretty early in this, every single week. And then this last week, she kind of destroyed me.
Stole it from you.
Yeah, screw you, Britt.
Congrats, Britt. I hate you.
He'll be on a little bit later.
Yeah,
That'll
She
be
ends
my
the show. You start the show. She ends the show. We knew we had to keep you guys far apart.
I'll just-
yeah.
I'll relay the
They're-
message
yeah,
for
they're
you.
here.
Frenemies. I'll read Joe. You know that Joe. That's very kind of you to relay that message.
Yeah, I'll relay the
Appreciate
message.
you.
Don't worry.
Thank you. I
All right,
appreciate it.
Ariel.
Yes.
Before you go, is there any one last thing you want to say, and B, let people know where they can find you?
A, fuck the Broncos. I had so many hopes for you.
Yes. Yes.
B, you can find me on Twitter at Trash Sandwiches. I am writing and making some video stuff over at the In Between Media family. Got some stuff coming out this week and next. Keep an eye out. Those are, I guess, the big things where you can find me doing things. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Y'all are great. This is fun. Looking forward to everyone else's grievances because I'm sure we have a lot.
You can also catch Ariel's episode of Her Story in the Making over on the Club Fantasy YouTube page.
You can indeed.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a pull
Correct.
right there. Good job.
Thank you. Cool. We'll have
Ariel,
an
thank
Ariel.
you for joining us.
Thank you, Ariel. Take
And
care.
we will see you next season.
Sounds good.
You know, she said sounds good. And you know what else sounds good?
Whiskey?
Jemo's voice.
Always.
Is there whiskey in there?
There might be a little bit of tequila. That's my
Okay.
my
All
drink
right.
of choice here.
My
Mr.
man.
Icon, how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Thank you guys for inviting me here. It's a true honor and a pleasure to be up this early. We're on a day where I can actually sleep in versus getting up at 6:30 in the morning. But anything for you guys, I am here. Josh, Joe,
It's
Faith,
11:20.
Ryan.
I'm in pajamas. I feel underdressed right now.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
should see.
you
You
don't
should
get
see the bottom half of me here. This is just.
probably. I don't think we want to because it's probably not safe for work.
I'll send you the OnlyFans link, Joe.
Nice.
It's there. It's there. But hello, everybody. How are you guys?
Hello,
Hi, Joe.
Jemo.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
Tell
I'm
us.
good. Yes.
What pissed you off this season about fantasy football?
So I have a couple of things, okay? And after I say these couple of things, I do have some positive stuff to say as well.
Oh,
Yeah, which is
Oh,
not too normal of me to say something positive, I guess, right? I don't know. That's what the Twitter people think. Who knows?
The Twiddle people are dumb. So
That's there.
We hate the twiddle people.
Yeah.
the Twiddle.
Yeah. What did your friend say, Joe? Fuck them bitches.
That was Dad.
Yeah,
That's
my
his dad.
my
Your
dad.
Your dad.
Yeah, no. I mean, we're not friends. So yeah, my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, he basically said, "Fuck those guys." They're
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
yeah,
Fuck them all. Fuck them all.
yeah.
All right. So this guy, who I'm going to mention, I traded for in a lot of dynasty leagues because I wanted a share of him everywhere, right? Because I thought he was going to be great, and he has been great up until where he went to, Mr. Allen Robinson.
oh,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
33
Nice.
receptions, 3 touchdowns this season. And I think he got hurt maybe, week 12-ish or something like that,
Yeah, right
whatever
around
the case may be. Injuries, yeah, I get it. But Allen fucking Robinson, fuck you, sir. All right.
before you move on, I want to throw
Yeah.
something out. When I was looking up for some of my stuff this morning, I was going through and looking at some of the like top receivers for teams to see how it changed throughout the season for someone I'm going to complain about later. Cooper Kupp, who has not played a game since week 9, has 201 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson is still number 2 on that team with 85 points. And then Ben Skoranek with 14 games played at 84 points. What a train wreck that
Insane.
team is. And my God, how great is Cooper Kupp? So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then with Robinson, this is probably the best quarterback he's had and on the best team he's had. He's had Blake Bortles throwing to him with Jacksonville for however many years.
Mitch Trubisky.
My
Mitchell,
buddy
Mitchell, I love kissing titties. Trubisky. Come
Yes.
on. What do you mean?
That's
What do
my
you
boy.
mean? Justin
boy.
Fields, Nick
Well,
Foles,
Granted,
Super Bowl winning
granted.
quarterback, Nick Foles.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Justin Fields. If Robinson was on the Bears this year, I think his stats would have way up.
I mean,
But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, he gets on a good team, great quarterback, best quarterback he's probably ever had, and
That's nothing.
33 receptions. I can probably get 6 if I went to the NFL. Right? That's not saying too much. Maybe 5, but
I mean,
Allen Robinson.
if Cole Kmet can get 6, you can get 6. So I mean,
Listen, buddy. Listen, you leave Cole out of this. All right? I know you and Cole. My other grievance, and he was on your graphic there, is Mr. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
13 touchdowns. 13 with 10 interceptions, going to a fantastic team with Javonte Williams when he was healthy, of course. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. Who's their tight end over there?
Albert Okuwegbunam, Greg Dulcich.
Greg Dulcich
Yeah,
ended up taking
yeah.
the job.
Right. Now I was kind of high on Albert O as well, and
Scored last week.
Yeah,
Championship
Albert
week.
O
Yeah.
is just puzzling because when Noah Fant was traded, you just thought it was the Albert O show. They were going to take over, but no.
It was the Albert Oh No show.
Yeah,
That's right. I think Cole Kmet had a better season than Albert O. Huh?
I'm certain
that
he
go?
did.
Yeah.
I'm
not
looking
wrong.
it up right now. Taysom Hill is the second highest scoring tight end in standard. So if we all want to have a grievance over that, that'd be fun.
Standard.
Continue,
That's
Joe.
my
I'll-
grievance.
I'll find that for you.
I'm pretty sure Cole Kmet had a better game than Albert O had season. So
Probably. That's it. But no, those are my 2 grievances. What I do want to say is I want to thank each and every one of you, and maybe a select few other organizations that I'll listen to or watch religiously for guiding me through a crazy fantasy football season. And I've been watching you guys for a number of years now. So thank you guys for everything that you do, even with Women of Fantasy Football, the jersey giveaways, and everything else. And it goes all to a fantastic cause. So kudos to you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. If you guys ever need anything, never any blood on your hands, call me. I got you. I
Jemo knows people.
So
I may. I
Nice.
may. Yeah. I may.
He's Serbian.
that seems.
let's edit that out.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that statement.
Yeah. All right.
I know a lot of great Serbians. I've been
Let's
to Serbia
stop.
all the time.
No. Let's
Let's not put all Serbians in the same bubble, okay?
Let's stop that snowball.
Okay. All right. But yeah, nonetheless, no, guys, thank you so much for everything that you do. You guys are fucking awesome. My one in my heart and everywhere else. So
We
love you,
thank you
Jemo.
very,
Appreciate
very
you,
much.
buddy.
And hopefully we'll see you in
Yeah.
Canton all again very soon, right? Joe, I know
maybe,
it's
Joe,
baseball
maybe.
season
Joe,
My for the final game of our season is August 12th. So I will not be able to make it to the expo once again. Maybe if they just push it back
The
another week.
Expo's on like the 13th this
for
year.
you. Yeah, fly out
Catch
the same
you,
day,
man.
buddy.
The
Come on.
12th is the Saturday.
Yeah,
Wait,
catch
yeah.
the red.
Oh yeah.
And
Let's
then my
end the-
40th birthday is that Monday. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
hey guys, let's end the game at 11:45 at night, and then get home at 1 a.m. and then catch the 5 a.m. the next morning.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm here
fuck
to-
it. Let's
yeah.
see.
Sounds
Do
like
it,
we
man.
got a plan.
Joe, you're like what? 22?
20. I'll be 25 at that point because my birthday
Okay.
is August
Wow.
11th.
25.
Wow.
So yeah, it could be for your 25th and Josh's 40th.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure. Yeah, hey, you want to chip in money for the flight? I'll make my way there.
Oh
You
yeah,
got
we're
some
having
Delta
martinis,
credit.
buddy. I'll buy
I
you a
will-
martini.
Nobody in my
I
house even
will-
has a job right now, Joe.
I will look into it. How about that?
Look into it. And if
I
you
will-
can't make it, please tell Mr. Dad Zollo to come.
Yeah.
I'd love to hang out with him.
Yes, and Lou in your
Yeah.
stead.
He's my proxy.
That will never
friend.
need to see you again.
Nope.
Fuck all of you.
Fuck all of you. But no, thank you
except
guys
for
very much.
except that for his wedding.
Thanks, Jemo.
No problem. A
Thank
star-studded
Jemo.
cast. Hello to everybody out there. I love all you guys. Some people I don't care for so too much, but
You know,
the ones
we
that
all
are
have the
here,
list.
I love. Cheers, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks,
See you, Jemo.
Hey, Gemma, have a good one, buddy.
You too.
Don't worry, Gemma. We all have a list of people we don't like either.
I fucking
For what
love
it's
it.
worth.
Where would I fly
Some of you
into?
are on that
I'll
list.
do research while we keep going through
There
the
you
show.
go.
Canton? Am
I
I,
mean-
flying to
Cleveland,
Canton?
Cleveland will be cheapest and have more flights.
Yeah.
Canton would
And
be.
it's only an hour
next
away,
where we
so and one of us will likely have a rental car, so we'll just come pick you up that morning.
Hey, great.
It'll likely be me because Josh will still be asleep.
I'll
Right.
likely have my real car. So
I'm Ryan.
Oh, yeah,
I can
that's right.
drive. Okay.
Well, because Ryan usually drives from New York.
Hey, can we bring in the next guy? Because I have a feeling he's going to talk defensive guys. So this
I'm
is going to be
working
a
on
fun
it.
one. This is going to be a
She
fun
hasn't
one.
come up with
Working on
her
it.
segue
She
yet.
hasn't come up with
Joe.
the segue yet.
I didn't, and Joe killed it. So you know what? Fine. I needed to go on the defensive, but I couldn't because Joe went on the offensive too
Ooh.
stinking early. And speaking of defensive, Jorge Edwards, Fantasy and Frames, one of Joe's favorite people because he too talks IDP. Jorge, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me this morning. I didn't know it was going to be so Serbian heavy so early on. I normally get my Serbian talk before afternoon, but that was definitely awesome to hear. So
I don't know why it's a big deal. I'm very confused.
when I was hearing it backstage, I'm like, this is really random and making me laugh a lot. I don't know why, but whatever. Yeah, so interestingly enough, I don't have a lot of IDP grievances. I have a few offensive ones. I have a couple IDP. That wouldn't be me without having a couple. And I guess let me get that one out of the way since probably people are not too familiar with the name Kenny Moore. He's a cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts who, for IDP, when you're looking at your defensive backs, you want, the people that are going to get the heavy volume in tackles. And for a cornerback, as opposed to a safety, that is very rare. But he has been the rare exception the past 3 seasons up until this season. And then for some reason, he just went away. And that was very disappointing because you have like the elite of the elite, analysts who cover IDP who say, oh, I would never take a cornerback in my drafts as my DB1. And I'm like, well, there's Kenny Moore. And there's like, yeah, but that's the exception to the rule. And then 1 year goes by, 2 years go by, 3 years go by. I'm like, yeah, how's that exception to the rule going? And then you finally get some some leg room, some room to stand on. And then this happens this year. So that's one of my grievances this year. Devin White, elite linebacker, also great IDP name. And it's his partner Levante David, who helped people down the stretch in the fantasy playoffs the most. That's also disappointing for those who don't know who Devin White is. He's the one who got the game-winning interception for the Super Bowl a couple years ago when it was the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. Going to the offensive side of the ball, this is a grievance against myself, and I'm sure other fantasy managers out there, letting Josh Jacobs slip in drafts. Yeah. It's like you get to the point where it's a draft.
Not me.
Not me.
Well, unless we're talking about Scott Fishbowl, Josh.
Shut up, face.
It is true though. I mean, I got Jacobs in the 3rd round in most leagues. Like no one wanted him.
I think I got him in the 5th or 6th.
No one wanted him. It's crazy.
It's round after round, people just let him go by, and it's just like nope. Another grievance I have is AJ Dillon. Man, this is the year of RB2s just not panning out. You're hoping that you're getting the RB1 upside. The tandem, all the narratives heading into the season, Aaron Jones, this is going to be a out year after this year for his contract, so maybe they want to see more AJ Dillon, and you saw him right when he probably didn't matter anymore because you're probably out of the playoffs if he was your RB1 or something along those lines. Speaking of fading running back, another grievance I have is damn you 0 RB theory this year. You did not help out a lot of managers. For those who you're hoping for people like Kareem Hunt and Rashad Penny and Elijah Mitchell and maybe some back end work with the Khalil Herbert there. Nope. That just did not work. Hamstrings, you're another thing on the grievance list. Suck.
Let's get rid of them.
But apparently,
I don't need them.
Apparently we need them. Unfortunately or fortunately. And my last grievance this year is apparently. So there's somebody in the NFL. I don't know who it is, but they go from stadium to stadium, and they sprinkle this dust in the end zone that is specifically targeted to elicit an allergic reaction to Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Right.
I need this man to get a touchdown this week. All is holy.
For your sanity, for our sanity, for all our sanities, Deontay Johnson, find the end zone, please. This is definitely the week to do it. So those are my grievances. But look, it's as much as I'm complaining about these players, it was fun watching from week to week. we you see something happen on Monday night, which, glad to see that Damar Hamlin is starting to be on the mend. I thought it was really cool they were able to FaceTime with the team, and just everybody involved in that situation. It's just been an emotional roller coaster. So glad to see that everything is trending in the right direction. That being the case, football is football, and we love it. We're glued to it. That's why we do what we do. And it's a very sobering experience what happened on Monday night. But at the same time, I think we have to also remember that there's a fine line between being cautious and then being scared, and I think living in fear. And I think that's something that we have to draw a line where we're not living in fear so much. Mike Evans came out and had an interview yesterday where he was basically given the same question with what happened with Damar Hamlin. Is that going to make you hesitate or whatever? And he's like, no, I'm going to go even harder because you never know when this day is going to be your last. And I thought that was very poignant, coming from somebody of an elite status that he has in the NFL. So it's a tricky thing. There's a fine line. But at the end of the day, we value these players. We want these players to succeed. We want them to stay healthy. We want all these different things. And 9 times out of 10, we get that. So hopefully, things trend well and continue to trend well with Damar Hamlin. Hopefully we don't have to see any of these incidents ever again. Hopefully the league finds ways to keep improving the safety, equipment that they have for these players. And we can all just go about our days just worrying about fantasy football, not anything more serious than that.
Indeed.
Indeed.com.
Love it.
I had a grievance I was going to pick with you, Jorge, but then you had to be so fucking poignant and wonderful to end your thing. It's not really a grievance. Just add waivers. I don't care if we do best ball in the 4-eye tournament. Add waivers. Waivers are like my favorite thing, especially in IDP, because I follow really, really smart people. There's this guy in the IDP industry, Nate Markham, I think it is. He puts out this article that I use to beat him every single week when there are waivers. I did it in the other guy's IDP championship, but I didn't get to do waivers, and it broke my heart. So my only ask is, if we want to keep it best ball, let's keep it best ball. But let's bring waivers in here. Let's keep this weekly thing going.
The whole point of best ball is to run pro-peel it and set it and forget it.
Then don't join the
It's best ball. That's the whole point.
Yeah, we're going to be making the announcement of who is the overall champion this year, and you may or may not have mentioned his name, so that's going to be.
Yeah, I kind of thought
so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's not fair.
I know it's kind of weird. It's given the person who has an IDP an advantage in an IDP best ball league doesn't really look awesome, but it is what it is.
It didn't work out too well for him in 2020 or 2021.
Boom shakalaka. There you go. Love it. Love it. No, seriously, thanks you all for having me on. This is great. Love the work we did with Club Fantasy this year, with you down with IDP, with Roxanne and Joe and Nate and I. Just a great time. And kudos to everything you all are doing year in and year out. Just the consistency, just the love you all show to the fantasy football community is second to none. So thank you very much for all that you do.
Likewise.
Thanks, Jorge.
Appreciate you, Jorge.
Have
Goated.
a great rest of your off season.
There you go. All right, y'all take care.
Bye, Jorge.
Bye.
You went the whole off season. You didn't even just say weekend.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I know.
Gave this man great months.
Yeah.
I do what I can. You know who was also having a great off season because their season wasn't great? Gators
from one
fans.
SEC fan to another fan.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Go Dogs.
That was rough. Oh, Faith. See, and I thought you and I were friends. At least we were
Oh,
on Twitter.
heavens.
I think we're canceling each other now with this. Right?
Yeah.
Except
Hey,
for one of us is in the national championship and the other one isn't. So nobody's canceling
Jay,
anybody.
That's true. That's true. But I will be. I am the biggest dog fan that wears Gator blue this year.
Okay.
Jay,
I feel like
it's
that's
fine. It's fine. The horny frogs are about to Max Doggin is about to
Lord.
beat down on the Bulldogs. That's
Okay,
fine.
so there's a grievance. Cancel. Joe can go now.
I love the nickname Max Doggin. I love the nickname Max Doggin.
See, and I thought my first grievance was going to be Ryan. I just figured out it's not Ryan. He's the second. Now it's Joe. Joe just went the number
Hell
one.
yeah. Hey,
I like how Jay comes in here
Hey.
with grievances against you people,
Yeah,
not
I
like
love it.
fantasy players, but you guys.
hey Ryan, how's it feel to be second, idiot? How's it feel to be second?
First loser.
Oh Lord. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
my biggest grievance this year was DeAndre Swift. I had DeAndre Swift as RB1 on the year, preseason,
Yes.
in drafts, everything. I was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. There's no other options. And boy, did that fall flat.
Turns out there was another option.
Little
It
did
was,
you
it wasn't
know.
just one. There was two other options, evidently. So that was the biggest one. Here's where I was with Ryan. We were about 6 months ahead of time when going with the Mike Evans take. I mean, we had to wait 6 months to get Mike Evans. That dust that Jorge was just talking about. Thank God they didn't make it to Tampa last week, because man, that was nice
Sorry,
to actually
Lou.
see that get into the end zone there.
Yeah, 100%. But when Mike Evans pops the way he did, I feel like it validates us that we can be wrong for 4 months and we're that right for 1 week.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you want to be out on a player like a year ahead of time. We were just in on Mike Evans, 6 months ahead of time.
Yeah. It's not our fault. We were telling everyone to start him in week 17 and they listened for the first 16 weeks. That's their fault.
That's their fault. That's right. I looked at just to get a little bit of background on how this show is supposed to work. I had to go back and look at last year. So I want to give a shout out to Kelly in Phoenix for saying that it was okay to drink bourbon while on this show. So
There you go.
Here's the Kelly.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
And now she
know.
works with us.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I get to talk to her in a couple weeks. I get to have her on, so that'd be nice. That's gonna be awesome.
Very cool.
I wanted to give you guys a shout out too, because I think the women in fantasy football, her story, the stuff that y'all are doing is absolutely phenomenal. Bringing light to that. There are women in this industry and in this space that are way fucking smarter than any of the four of us get. You know what I mean? There really, truly is.
There, I had a moment yesterday where I just didn't process something, because I'm sure you've all seen it, because I quote tweeted it. Matt Walsh basically said that football isn't for women. Women don't understand it. Yeah, we might get into it, but we don't really understand it. And God love Laura Oakman. She's like, man, I have been wasting my time in my career then, because I don't understand what I've been doing for so long. And I'm like,
Laura should really switch it up, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
okay at the best.
I don't know why. I don't even know why y'all try in this industry. You're just not smart enough. It seems like, at least in his opinion.
Just clouded judgment, honestly. Yeah. So, hello, friend. Hello, child. Hello, child. Okay, he waves. Good. Okay. I know he can't hear me. Thank God. You don't want him to hear me. That's a really bad thing.
It's probably really good. It's probably really good.
because he's 4 and he like repeats things.
Oh, that's
perfect.
a really bad
put,
thing.
Put the headset on him. Put the headset on him. Put the headset on him. Yeah, like Josh said, earmuffs. They're earmuffs. Just put it on him. It's funny. Jay brings up, Faith, you brought up the tweet. It's funny because you hear, women are too emotional. Have you watched Stephen A. Smith?
Right?
Who?
Exactly. Like, have you watched?
Stephen A's a moron.
He can't speak on anything except basketball.
Yeah,
that is a fact. Like the biggest thing, women are too emotional. Look at literally every professional talk show.
Well, look at the stands when the fans are crying after.
Exactly.
Miss me with the bullshit.
Exactly. It's like,
Ryan, how emotional do we get and ramped up on Monday mornings after the weekend of games?
Hey, 11 o'clock on a Monday is a staple for me, because you two give me the outlet. I don't get to voice it very much with you guys, but I do get to do the little typing part.
Yeah.
And my fingers are moving so fast. And I'm doing it on my phone, so it's like I'm doing thumbs, and I get tendonitis in my thumbs Tuesday.
It's like blogging. It's like blogging.
It is absolutely 100%. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and the other thing, they never played the sport. They don't know. I guarantee you, if you saw Max Kellerman throw a football, it looked like a 3-year-old trying to throw it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Half of the people haven't played.
That drove me nuts. That was the other thing.
Yeah, tell him. What's his name again, Faith? What's his name?
Joshua.
I was going to say Charlie. I don't know why. He just struck me as a Charlie.
He does look like a Charlie, though.
Right? You just immediately, I don't know what it is. If it's the bowl cut with the blonde hair, it just feels like Charlie bit my finger reincarnated.
I love it.
Joe, we do got to get your light fixed, though. I mean, you can see air, but you, like you said, you can't see on.
Hold on.
You need to stretch that thing out a little bit.
Listen, I don't know. My mom, my fiance got it for me. I forgot who got it for me for a second. My fiance got it for me, and she just found it. It was like $10 at a store. She's like, I found this is really cool. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And I put it behind. I turned it on. I was like, oh, it looks great. And then I go on camera and I'm like, what the fuck? You can't see.
You should put it over the door so she doesn't interrupt you anymore.
That's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna have it right.
Maggie never interrupts because she doesn't ever want to be on camera.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those, but I'm gonna put it like right here so that when people go to walk by, they know exactly what's happening. They don't try to interrupt, and yours is just in the wrong spot. That's all. That's probably why the light is all messed up.
You know what? I'll put it out my window so the 7 other people that live in the state of North Dakota know what's happening.
Joe, I love that I was going to make the exact same joke. I just don't know how many people I was going to say, but I was going to be like, yeah,
I mean,
4 people.
There's at least 30, because if you think of the Bismarck Larks organization.
Yeah, but only 5 of them go outside.
Yeah.
The rest of them
there's
are
an entire
inside.
baseball team.
Yeah, but
they only come out in June. And they're back in August.
Yeah, our players actually are only here from Memorial Day through the middle of August. So Jay actually hit the nail right in the head.
That's when you can't get a hotel up there because they don't live there. They just visit for 2 months. Get the hell out.
If you'd like to come up to Bismarck, you can stay at the beautiful Ramada by Wyndham, where you get the friends and family rate discount for the Bismarck Larks, $79 a night.
Well, listen, if I go to Bismarck, I'm staying at the Zollo by Maggie.
listen, it's a free continental breakfast. There's a bar inside the hotel. They give you 2 free drink tickets. When you check in.
How close are you to the zoo? Serious question.
Everything is within 10 minutes. However,
he lives in North Dakota. It is just a open zoo. What are you talking about? There are wild buffalo. There are coyotes. It's just an open zoo. They don't have fencing.
So to the actual zoo, I am literally 10 minutes. But to Jay's point, there are jackrabbits, pheasants, coyotes.
I have yet to see a specific reason for this question. So North Dakota Zoo is one of the few zoos that do a red panda experience.
I was going to say, I guarantee this has something to do with red pandas.
The Dakota Zoo or there's multiple zoos in North Dakota. Right?
I don't know.
We do have other cities.
Let's find
contrary to popular belief. Yes, we have other cities. It might be Fargo, might be Minot.
It's Fargo. Fargo.
Fargo, North Dakota. Shout out Bison.
Great movie.
Shout out the Bison. They played the Jackrabbits tomorrow in the FCS championship down in Frisco.
Frisco?
Yeah, Frisco, Texas.
They make a great melt.
Yeah. Scampers did ask, do they have wild horses? They don't have them in Bismarck, but yes, I have seen wild horses in the Badlands out in Medora. So yes, we do have wild horses. There's pronghorn, there's elk. You see a bunch of bison when you go out there. There's prairie dogs also, like here, like at my apartment complex, just chilling.
They're so cute.
So it's kind of like, I'm in the South, so I'm in Georgia. I know you guys are a couple of y'all are in Florida. I'm in Georgia, just north of the Florida line, and we have like wild cats. You just have wild prairie dogs that live in your apartment complex. Okay.
We had a mountain lion roaming the streets of Bismarck last year. Don't know how that happened.
Big deal.
Yeah, an emu got out of the zoo one time, and I saw it along the bike trail.
That's why Ryan wants to go to the zoo up there. He wants to go see the wild lemus.
Dude, I want to take it home.
Dude, the emu was sick. I shouted Limu, and he did not respond.
He was unhealthy.
I made that joke first.
Yeah, I know.
Jay, where in
I
Georgia
got
do you
2
live?
more. Valdosta. So literally right across.
I drove through there Wednesday on my way
Yeah,
home.
so I was thinking about this. Joe was talking about not being able to go to Canton or whatever. Now he's got to fly up the night of and all that bliss. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find out when Ryan when Faith and Josh are going up, and I'm going to get to the interstate as quick as I can and just put my thumb up.
Except
it'll
we
be
way cheaper.
well, then I guess I'll still be on the. I guess I'll still be sitting at the interstate then.
Yeah, you're gonna be waiting a long time.
Yes,
You're gonna get a grappling hook.
I'm gonna look out the window and be like, "Oh, there's Jay."
Yep. Look at that idiot down there.
There he goes.
Stupid Gator fan.
I got two more real quick grievances. I know y'all hit
ahead.
on this last year, but vetoing trades is stupid. That's just the dumbest thing you can
We talk about it every year.
Yep. And then the last thing is players that don't give a shit about your fantasy team. So when it comes to championship weeks, they just I don't give a shit. Fuck them.
I want to go back to your vetoing trades though. On the topic of trades, Josh, you experienced this in a league where you were a commissioner this year. Sleeper needs to fix their broken ass trade system where I can start a guy on Thursday night, still trade him, and I get the Sunday players back that I traded. So I get to start the guy on Thursday and start the Sunday players, and the other person just gets fucked over. So,
well, that doesn't seem fair.
yeah, that's one of the worst trade systems. And we had the exact same thing happen in our league, but the guy who got screwed was tanking, so there were no complaints about it at all. He's like, yes, please, I don't want to be able to play these players. So Josh, you're muted again.
That's what, 3 times? I mean,
yeah,
dude, I thought you were
I'm sure there'll
pro
be
at
3 or
this
4
thing.
more by the end of the video.
Jay, here's the thing. Josh is not a pro because he cannot host to save his life. He is.
Oh no, I
terrible
see
at
that.
it.
I see that on Monday when Ryan has to do all the heavy lifting.
oh, that's the goal of that show. Josh is hungover.
More often than not, yes.
Oh, speaking of hungover,
I am not.
I guess last year,
am.
Josh, you had to get picked up in Canton. Is that now this year is the 40th? So your 40th. So I'm thinking you're going to get picked up again. So this is now going to be a repetitive thing for you.
Yeah,
so we're just going to go 39, 40, 40. Instead of it being like super, we got to put those in like they do for the Super Bowl. Like they do for the Super Bowl. We're gonna highlight, Canton, Josh's, and then whatever Roman numeral fits.
I like it.
Fellas,
The beauty,
I feel bad
the
for anybody
beauty,
trying to spend their birthday in Canton. Fuck
Let's
that town.
get
especially if you have
fucked
me for a friend.
I just meant that town. It's a horrible place.
Ryan loves Canton with every fiber of his being, and he will tell you all the time.
I've been once.
I've been twice.
Exactly one time too many, Jeff.
Well, I went once when I was 11 for a flag football tournament, and we won the tournament, so it was a good trip to Canton for me.
How did you guys play at the stadium there at the Hall of Fame?
They said we were gonna, and then they shafted us.
Yeah,
So
sounds about right.
yeah, we beat
That's Canton for you.
well, we beat the team that hosted the tournament, and we blanked them in the championship. So fuck you guys.
well, you were 11, and the fantasy football flag football game was happening at the same time, so that's why you got shafted. They didn't give a shit.
That must have been.
Hey,
But
hey,
listen,
I get
Ryan,
it.
Joe, Josh, thank you. Faith, thank you for letting me get on here. Y'all have a great day. I'll be watching.
You too,
I'll
Jay.
be in the comments.
Thanks, Jay. Have a good one, buddy.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, if I do make it there, I better be in that fucking flag football game because I ain't gonna know.
Let's just hope it's better run
Yeah,
Okay.
right? Oh my God. It was
Speaking
so bad
of-
last year.
than long play.
Ain't gonna know what hit
Speaking
him.
of that flag football game, Christian, who is Josh's roommate, good friend of ours, played with IDP guys. I was technically on the team because you had a certain amount of people, but I just sat on the bench because I'm like, one of y'all better not get hurt because I'm not playing. But somebody else played and also lost. Our good buddy Hutch.
What's
What
going
a
on?
fucking
Yeah.
transition.
Thanks
Good
for
morning,
introducing me that way.
Hutch. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, our team, we oh man, I designed jerseys for our team, and it was
They
so
were
great. We were
dripping-
the Nacho Ninjas. It was
I was
amazing.
gonna say he was on Luke
The
Sawhook's
Nacho
team,
Man.
and they're
Yes, Luke
font was
Sawhook.
dripping cheese. It was
Oh yes, it was the best. Wait, hold on. I think I might have
I-
my
I-
jersey in my room very close. Do you mind if I go try to grab
no,
it?
Yeah.
no, get it,
I
Get it?
go.
Okay.
I love Luke, but he doesn't strike me as the most athletic human on
Nope.
I think
planet
he
Earth.
played quarterback anyway.
Great, perfect. Okay, that even solidified my point further.
Yeah. So hold on. Here's the thing. So, yeah, Hoove was playing quarterback. Do you guys know Hoove on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke is decently athletic, but I did run a route against him and I broke his ankles and I had him fall over.
Damn.
Yeah,
But
fuck 'em
this
up.
Hold up. I found it.
Nacho
yeah.
Ninjas.
It's
And then
dripping
we even
cheese.
had last names.
They had
I was
nicknames.
Brown, number 11.
Wow, Nacho
At
Ninjas.
least thank you for not making yourself number 2.
Yes.
Get it? Because poop is brown. Get it? So Hutch, who do you hate this year?
What are your grievances, buddy?
Yeah, I really, I still believe that this player is talented. I really, really do. I really believe this player is talented. I think he's just in the wrong spot right now. I'm really talking about Elijah Moore, who disappointed me this year for fantasy. Elijah Moore really crushed me this year. He was someone that I was all in on for fantasy football, and he crushed this year. He sucked, and he crushed a lot of my fantasy teams, and I just think he's in the wrong situation because we saw a talent in his rookie year. He was fantastic. I think he could be a number 1 wide receiver in an offense. I think if you put him like on the Ravens right now, he'd be the number 1 wide receiver easily on that team. I really think he can be a fantastic wide receiver. But right now he's just not in the right spot.
Yeah. Bad
But that's the one player I've really hated this year. It was Elijah Moore.
Wow, hate's a strong word, Hutch. I thought you were too nice to hate anybody.
No, what do you mean he's in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's literally the nicest person in fantasy
He
Twitter.
basically told us
what
that
are
his
you
high
talking
school
about?
is roving gangs.
There are
of
a lot
kids.
nicer people than me.
Yeah, I mean,
Faith, come on.
Okay, let me rephrase that. He's the nicest person in this live stream.
hey,
That's fair. I'll take that
That
one.
is
Hey,
very
now.
fair.
I'll take that one.
hey now.
No offense, guys. I'm just
I
kidding.
think of myself as a stand-up kind of guy. I'm very nice.
I mean, I'm not saying you're not, but he's just nicer.
every week I am nothing but nice. Every single week on our shows, I am nothing but nice.
I should hang this jersey
to
up
yourself.
somewhere, please.
To
You
myself, yeah,
literally-
exactly.
You literally just double flipped off the team you played when you were 11 because you beat them.
Yeah, but
But
here's the
does it
thing.
in a nice way.
But the statute of limitations has passed on that.
Yeah.
So,
If you can't be tried for it, it's not a crime anymore.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Double
Yeah.
jeopardy.
Hey, Faith, how about this? How about this? Don't fucking suck. That's pretty simple. Don't suck. Okay?
Supposed to suck.
You were literally the number 2 team in the country last year. Maybe don't suck. Okay? Kick your ass.
Oh my
Tw-
God.
Hutch, keep going.
14 years ago,
Yeah.
All right, Hutch. Anything else? Any grievances you have to air?
Man, another player. I'm really frustrated with Arthur Smith not using Kyle Pitts. That sucked.
Yeah,
That
what?
was frustrating.
First of all, how have we gotten this far into the show and you're the first
I'm
person
surprised
to
no
bring-
one said
Am I
Kyle
the first
Pitts.
person to say Kyle Pitts?
You are,
we're
yeah.
You
shocked.
gotta
are.
be kidding! Wow. Yeah,
was-
I wasn't. The thing is,
he
I
was on
wasn't
the
all in on
graphic.
Kyle Pitts. I actually thought he was overrated in drafts at the time 3 off the board. I thought he was genuinely overrated, and I didn't like him in drafts. I didn't draft him much, but it's like he sucked, and it wasn't his fault. I still believe that he's an elite talent tight end. I think he's still arguably the tight end 1 in Dynasty. I think if you look at all the tight ends in Dynasty, I think he's still arguably number 1, and he just wasn't used this year at all. The thing is, he is a great blocker, and the Atlanta Falcons actually won some games this year when he was out there, but it was still the worst for fantasy because you spent such a high draft pick on him, and he ruined your season.
Well,
And
to-
Or spent a good amount of dollars in your auction leagues on him, and you
Oh
only
my
ended up with
goodness,
2
yes.
wins. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And then
So-
Najee Harris as well, someone I loved this year. He was a top 3 running back for me this year before his injury. Then he was like RB 6 or 7 for me in my rankings. But then, he was clearly affected by it all year because the last few weeks he's actually been pretty good. Like he's actually been really good for fantasy, and also he's looked really good, especially against Baltimore. He looked fantastic running the football. I still believe in him. I still believe that next year is going to be his year. I think he's going to have a good year, but this
You
was a
answered
down
my
year for him, and
question
it really
'cause
sucked.
I asked Josh and Joe this a couple weeks ago on our Wednesday show.
I just drafted Najee in Dynasty startup in the 4th round, and I'm very happy.
You're not concerned by him yet to eclipse 4 yards a carry in a season.
I want to go back.
Everybody likes to blame it on the O-line, and that's fine.
Oh, it is.
But
I want to go back to Kyle Pitts thing because I heard this somewhere, and I just looked it up to make sure that this is true. So Marcus Mariota, by almost a full yard over Tua, had the most intended air yards per pass attempt in the league. He threw the most down the field in the NFL.
Really?
Shocking statistic. Yes, it's
where
unbelievable.
are you getting these numbers?
Pro Football Reference. It's unbelievable. So Marcus Mariota, 10.4 intended air yards per pass attempt. He was throwing for a first down every time he threw the football.
Wow.
So hence why his completion percentage was 27th in the league, with guys only worse: Davis Mills, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson. So hence his completion percentage was down. But they were trying to put the ball down the field. In that, you think, okay, that's weird. They were running the football a lot. Well, what do you normally set up when you run the football? Deep play action passes. So it makes sense. But after that, it goes Tua, Derek Carr makes sense. He just likes slinging it. Justin Fields is 4th in intended air yards per pass attempt, and then Josh Allen. It's very weird. The guys with the lower completion percentages, Mariota, Carr, Zach Wilson, they're all top 6 in intended air yards. But guys like Tua, Josh Allen,
throwing it down the field more often, your completion percentage is going to be a little bit lower.
It's going to be a little lower unless your name is Josh Allen.
Unless you're Josh
exactly. Allen. So it's interesting, but I think they were trying to get Kyle Pitts the football. Mariota's just not accurate.
Yeah, and Pitts has such a huge
He did have a lot of decent targets.
Yeah.
It
takes a very inaccurate quarterback to not get Kyle Pitts the football.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring that up because I think obviously everyone blames a lot on Kyle Pitts, but I vividly remember one play. Kyle Pitts was double covered, and the guys were 5 steps behind him. Mariota overthrows him 50 yards down the field. It was an easy touchdown for about 70 yards. So I think a lot of it played into his quarterback. So I think if we're going to talk about Pitts, you got to put a lot of the blame on Mariota, because if he had a quarterback, even, and this pisses me the fuck off, but Mac Jones had a 7% higher completion percentage. He was literally dead middle in the league at 17. If he had Mac Jones as quarterback, Kyle Pitts was probably a top 10 tight end.
Well,
that's not saying a lot, but also you do have to put a lot of the blame on Mariota. So I don't want to throw it all on Pitts because I do think he's a very good player and he was open on a lot of plays. But it also didn't help that his team ran the football 65% of the time and his quarterback had a bottom 6 completion percentage in the league. I agree with you completely, Hutch. I think drafting Kyle Pitts that high last year was asinine. There was no reason for that. I think we all kind of saw there was no way he was going to live up to that draft status. So I love it, though. Thank you for bringing up Kyle Pitts an hour into the show, because I'm shocked.
I can't believe no one else had brought him up, because he was like the disappointment of disappointments this year. Well, he really was.
Russell Wilson.
Oh, Russell. Yeah, the entire Broncos. Really,
the entire Broncos offense.
One of those guys.
Chocolate covered tuna salad.
Wow. Okay, I've never heard that before, and I don't ever want to hear it again. That sounds gross.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know.
You think it's going to be ice cream, and then you take a bite, and it's tuna salad. I said it. Anyway, Hutch, thank you for joining us.
What an analogy.
If you listen to me on Sirius XM with Howard Bender, it would make sense. But
thank you, Nacho Ninja.
Thank you, Nacho Ninja. Bye, Hutch.
I will only refer to him as that when he joins the show.
It's Nacho Ninja now.
Ninja.
Speaking of joining the show.
What's up, Kevin? Perfect segue.
Thank you. Kevin, you got one of the shittiest segues so far. Just speaking of joining the show.
I'm used to it.
Are you still hiding from your wife, Kevin?
Yeah, she thinks I've been in here for like 20 minutes. It's cool. Like she's got we got a bunch of shit to do today, and I was like, well, I got to do something real quick, and then I hit out. I hear the hammer going, so I don't know what's going on out there.
Oh man, something's getting destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah, she woke up in a weird mood today.
Is Charlie singing? His name is not Charlie for anyone just joining, but I am only strictly referring to him as Charlie. We can't have two Joshuas on the show. That's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Kevin, how's it going, man?
I'm good. Yeah, no, I have some grievances. First of all, Eagles fans, you guys are assholes. All right,
That hasn't changed. That hasn't
Hold on.
changed.
I just have to pop this in
Yes.
here.
Yes. Hutch is
Fly,
always
Eagles,
subtweeting
fly.
me.
Oh,
You
man.
said he's nice on Twitter. He's always subtweeting me about the Cowboys. That dude is always saying crap. But no, I had death threats in my DMs. You guys are crazy. You guys are
Eagles fans are the worst. Eagles fans are the worst.
Eagles fans are the worst.
Okay.
I will say Eagles fans are the worst. There are
The
a lot
funniest-
of horrible Eagles
The
fans.
funniest thing that happened though, so that tweet went viral. I said Nick Sirianni is the worst, like trash. Well, an Eagles fan
Oh, I
my
remember that tweet.
Vidmo, and then requested $1,000 for my shitty tweets, and I was dying. Like I was.
That's funny.
Like, but you don't understand. Like I had to my pudgy thumb. I was like, I can't say yes to this. So I'm trying like really. All right.
Yeah,
I
you're
can't
like
do
shaking.
it. But I thought that was the greatest. So every Eagles fan, if that was you, props to you. I thought that was
Kudos.
awesome.
That's good.
They found your Venmo. What the hell?
Okay.
That's
Bye,
that's
Hutch.
dedication. That's
It is.
absolute dedication to do that.
I give him credit. I was
Oh my
dying
God.
laughing. I was laughing when that happened. Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, that's wild. Oh my
yeah.
god. I mean, I know Eagles fans are rough, but damn, that's
Oh, they're bad.
wow.
But other than that, Chase Edmonds sucks, right? Like I think,
Yeah. Oh my god, what another disappointment. That's another one. Like everybody was so high on him. We're an hour plus into the show. First time somebody's brought up Chase Edmonds.
Hey. You listen to the show. No, I don't. Were we high on Chase Edmonds? Was Club Fantasy high on Chase Edmonds? I was touching Kevin. Hell yeah.
No.
Oh, Nacho. Yes. His name is Charlie here on the show. Kevin, how
where
high
did I
were
have
you on
Edmonds
Chase
in my
Edmonds?
preseason
Like,
list?
where did you have Chase? You don't have to tell me exactly, but like top 20.
No.
Like, where did you have Chase Edmonds?
No,
I had
I
him
just
at
thought,
RB28 going into the season. That's
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was like a round 8-9 flyer as like a zero running back type of guy to go grab, like especially with PPR. I just expected him to do more in that offense. Like, hey, I thought he would at least get like a safe floor as a running back too. And now he's playing for Denver. So like that's the problem.
He's
like,
playing for a job.
Yeah,
right?
like you're looking at it. I just thought that he would have been, solid. And then he came out and had the worst statistical season he's ever had in an offense that props up running backs. And that's not something that you like to see. So
I feel like this is the first year we've seen things like that, Kevin, where like Chase Edmonds lost his job and is trying to be relevant in Denver. The one that really threw me off is Darrell Henderson was the starting running back for the Rams and then couldn't keep a job after they let him go. So it's just been like, we've all joked, that it's running backs are irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. Like the NFL is just throwing them away now. Like they're just done with them.
yeah. And it's going to get worse this year because the 23 class is loaded at the running back position. Like there's probably 16, 17 guys coming in that are going to be serviceable, plus all the free agents that you have coming out and where that's going to go. Like, and so these guys, Darrell Henderson, Kareem Hunt could definitely be on this show as a guy that disappointed because he was unstartable. He was unstartable besides maybe 2 games this year. And everybody loves him as that, hey, he's that flex guy. You can get him in there. He's safe. Like all those running backs, I feel like disappointed. Like when you're just looking at the standings, points per game, everything like there, like you really missed on those guys and it hurts you.
Yeah.
I'll look to see the top guys of the running back position just because I have it up here. But like, I mean, I don't think anybody expected Tony Pollard to finish 7th. I mean, I feel like people had a decent amount, was a little high on him, but Pollard was 7th.
Yeah, that was going to say there was some hype on him.
But there wasn't through the roof.
Yeah, I don't think it was top 7 hype, but yeah.
No, I mean, hey, we already talked about Najee. He finished 14. Alvin Kamara finished 18th. Zeke 21st. DeAndre Swift 24th.
Yeah, Swift.
Jonathan Taylor at 30. I mean, a lot of these guys being drafted in the first round not even just the lower level guys Kevin's talking about, the high end guys that people were drafting with their first pick, dog shit for most of the year.
Yeah, it was rough.
And we're starting to see that a little bit. Like, so I do a lot of mocks and stuff. Like, I can't tell you, like, usually the first time a running back goes off the board is like 207. Like, there is no running in Superflex. In Superflex, there's no running backs getting taken the first round. And there's barely, like, the first guy off the board is, it depends. Sometimes someone takes CMC, someone takes Jonathan Taylor. Breece Hall is running back 3. But usually, like, 205, 206, 207 is when that first running back comes off the board. And it's really shifting. Like, there's a lot of value to be had because Josh Jacobs is still going, like, in the 6th round. So when you're looking at like where these running backs are going, I think that's built into the disappointment that we see. So now you got to adjust that. I think there's some adjustment going to have to be when you start doing drafts and stuff like that.
Shout out to the Christian McCaffrey won't do anything this year crowd. He finished RB2. So with 1,000 yards on the ground.
Not bad.
Not too shabby. I mean, the transition to San Francisco may or may not have helped with that, but still would have finished top 10 either way. Yeah.
Kevin, do you have anything final to add?
I was just gonna say I'm disappointed myself for thinking Allen Robinson was gonna like do anything. Like, okay, I was not an Allen Robinson guy at all summer. I held strong, y'all. Like, I was like, all right. Then I got into redraft and I was like, you know what? He doesn't look too bad. Like, I'll go ahead and grab him. And he's single-handedly the reason why I lost my teacher-student championship this year, because I was in the championship game. I lost because I had Justin Jefferson. He did nothing. I lost by 4 points. But Allen Robinson, and I could draft a Kyle Pitts in that league, and I still made the championship. But, like, Allen, like, I'm disappointed that I didn't hold strong. Like, I really screwed that up. I should have just held strong and not drafted him. But I gave in to the Twitter talk, and I'll never do it again.
I love that, Kevin. One of my grievances later is going to be not holding strong on Jerry Jeudy versus Cortland Sutton. So.
Yeah. But other than that, good year. Good year.
Oh,
great tires.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. No, I just want to say also, you guys are good people. I appreciate. I always enjoy coming on here. Even for you, Joe. Even though you yell at me a lot, I
yell at everybody. Don't take it personal. I yell at everybody.
Even at everybody.
Even though, like, you guys are some of you Eagles fans, I respect you guys, and I can't wait to see you get knocked out of the playoffs. I'm excited for that.
There you go.
Likewise.
Yeah, well, we'll be there. First round. Bucks. We're going to lose. I already know. Doesn't matter.
Well.
Oh, Kevin, I love you, buddy.
So sweet of you.
All right, y'all. I'll see you later.
Good luck this afternoon. May the odds be in your favor of whatever projects your wife has for you.
Whatever that hammer's hammer, and I hope
I'm going to go jump out the window. I'll see y'all later.
Nice. Yeah.
Bye, Kevin.
It could have been first floor. We don't know.
It's been entirely way too long since I wasn't the only female on the show. So let's add Kendall.
Hello. Hi, guys. Oh my gosh, what a crew. I'm so excited. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. How's the first hour? I'm sure you've heard a lot of grievances.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've shit on Allen Robinson a couple times. Yeah. We've shit on Eagles fans.
Yeah. All right.
Rightly so.
Someone came in hot and immediately shit on me and Ryan.
Oh,
yeah, that was fun.
Good. Yeah. I won't do that. I promise. Yeah, you guys aren't on the
honestly,
list.
Free game. Honestly,
is Josh on the list, Kendall?
No. No one here's on the list. My list, like when I got this message, I was like, oh, cool. I'll just do the really awful thing and go back through my tweets. And I was like, fuck, man. Why did I attach myself? I attached myself so hard to Alberto Cuebanam. And I was
waiting for you to say a Broncos player.
For the love of God, it was awful. I was scrolling through my tweets. I was like, I should delete these. And then I didn't. But I was like, man, I thought he was the one. I was ready. A sleeper tight end that wasn't Cole Kmet. I was ready to go, ready to, hitch myself to that wagon. And I did it. And I think he ended up with 25 fantasy points this season. Yep. So it was it was the worst. It was the worst season for that. So that was awful. It was awful.
I think I remember us discussing Albert O when we interviewed when you were on WOFF.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
you did because I was in the car listening to that show. I remember Kendall was talking about Albert O for like 10, 15 minutes, and I was praying to God she would say something about it on this show. Kendall, what I've learned is that you don't put anything in, you don't put your takes in writing. You got to put it on a show verbally, so
Yeah.
people have to dig back through the show
1000%.
to prove you
1000%.
wrong.
That's how you
1000%.
avoid fantasy receipts.
That's
right?
how you avoid.
That's how I'm here. Well, it's so funny you say that because this is my first, you guys all know, this is like my first full year in fantasy. And I think that's my biggest, like, I was looking through everything, talking with, Matthew and Jordan and all those guys. And I was like, yeah, got to put it in writing next season. Cause I had some good ones, had some bad ones. Like I had said, I don't know if it was with you guys, but I had said that the Broncos are going to finish last in their division, and they didn't, but they might as well have. But it's like, yeah, got to start writing them down. Not Albert Okuegbunam though. Not
No.
after this season. Never again. Never
Mostly
again.
because it's too hard to spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but I will say I love the interim head coach. Like after last week's game, he's like, what's wrong with getting talented players to football? And Albert O scores a touchdown.
Literally.
And it's so maybe it wasn't Albert O's fault for this season. It was Nathaniel Hackett for being
that was a mess. I mean, we could go coach the Denver Broncos right now after Nathaniel Hackett. Like that was so. What are we doing? Like what? Are we
time
doing?
to polish the resume. Let's go.
God, yeah. That was a bad one. That was an awful one.
It's bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Also, listening to my other one was listening to Miles Sanders in the offseason. Do you guys remember that? He was like, "Oh, don't draft me," and I was like, "You got it. I'm not going to draft you. Done. Like, check. You're good.
That reverse psychology was
You're good, dude. I'm not going to draft you." And then I'm looking, and I'm like, "Oh my god, he's like what RB 13 right now, or something in the top 15."
Yeah.
So I was like, never listening to those guys again.
That's one thing I had in writing on our Eagles show. I said Miles Sanders was the sleeper.
Ooh, nice.
Miles Sanders is the 5th leading rusher in the NFL.
God.
Who would have thought? Did he have two touchdowns in week 1? He had 0 the year prior.
Yes. Yes, he doubled it up in like the first 2 weeks. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God. That was another one. I was like, this can't be real.
It's unbelievable.
It doesn't make any sense. Like just the fact that he came out and was like, "Don't draft me." Like
straight up, he was like, "Oh, don't draft me," and I was like,
comment.
"Yeah," I was like, "Oh, check, you're good to go." And now, like, I know you guys have probably touched on it, but like the running back, this offseason with running backs is going to be so fun because you've got like Tony Pollard. You're going to see where all these other guys go, so it's going to shake up a lot of things. But I have to put it in writing. I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, do this, don't do this. But there's a lot of high profile running backs hitting the market, so it should be really fun.
And a lot of really good running backs coming out in the NFL draft.
Yeah, that's what I heard last. I was like, dang. So it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard is the one. I didn't even know he was a free agent. And I don't know where I missed it and everything. Like, I'm so interested in what happens.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah.
Isn't he restricted? I thought he was a restricted free agent. No, he's not. No. Okay.
I don't think so.
I thought he was RFA.
Draft pick. He's not going to be a restricted free agent.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. But I thought I heard someone say he was restricted free agent.
No, it's like him, Josh Jacobs, who is like visibly pissed at the Raiders. He's like, I hate it here so much. Like
Damian Harris is a Raider next year. Damian Harris is.
Okay.
That's not even a hot take. Damian Harris is a Raider next year.
Oh yeah.
Not even a hot take. Oh,
I love that.
He's gonna get the exact same treatment Josh Jacobs did if he's able to stay healthy, because that is 100% a Josh McDaniels guy, 100%.
Yeah, I like that one. And then what? Tom Brady becomes their quarterback, and then we just have
Jimmy
hellhole.
Jimmy G.
Oh, Jimmy G. I did see that last night. They came out. Someone had a report on that, and I was like, oh.
Hold on. Let's not count on Jarrett Stidham now. Apparently.
Oh yeah.
The legend.
Diddy time.
As a Patriots fan, I'm pissed that he actually learned how to throw the football, and we're stuck with Mac Jones. But let's not count on Stidham, because McDaniels was the one that drafted Stidham. He was in that office when they drafted him, and then he brought him to Las Vegas to back up Derek Carr. Let's not count out Jarrett Stidham as the starter.
Hand up, I'm counting out Jarrett Stidham as the starter. Like, hand up.
I will put that out right.
It only counts if you put it in writing, Kendall.
I was just going to say, just don't put it in writing.
Kendall, tweet it.
I'm counting him out.
Tweet it right now. Tweet it.
I'm like, I just can't imagine. That's a mess over there, though. But yeah, those were my two big ones. Was Albert Okuegbunam, and then actually listening, for whatever reason, like listening to Miles Sanders be like, oh, don't draft me. Oh, good to go.
What do these players know?
It was so good. It was a good season, though. It was a good season.
So it's confirmed that Miles Sanders is a terrible fantasy analyst. That's all we needed.
Yeah, I think he does. He doesn't have a future there. He's not jumping over to fantasy life. He's not jumping over with you guys, but that's okay. Everything else he's good at.
Yeah, he's good at things that count.
Joe questioned earlier whether or not
What did I do? I don't remember what I did.
Nope. So you made a comment earlier about restricted free agents, and nobody likes restriction,
I don't.
especially men.
Wait, we're doing Manscaped.
And you know to help with that,
Out of here.
Is that what we're doing?
it was the last
Is that what
time
we're doing?
for this season.
No.
I gotta.
No.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
vetoing 2/3 vote.
yeah. I mean, hey,
We'll
use
do it at
code-
the end after all the guests.
Use
Okay.
code.
I
Club
understand
Fantasy.
that, but I have to leave. So it was my
Ah.
last segue.
So here we go.
about that.
I'll
Thank you,
I'll
Kendall,
do
for
something.
I just
So
want to remind everybody that we have children in the back.
I know. That's why we're keeping it clean, just like
Okay.
Manscaped does for all you guys out there. Use code
There.
Club Fantasy,
Wow.
20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com.
There you
Again,
go. You can read it
you
on the
just
box.
see
Perfect.
like I can do this, me, Josh, and Ryan, no problem. I can make as many inappropriate jokes as I want. It's just, guys being guys. When there's two women on here, I feel just weird making those jokes.
No, keep
And then-
going. Keep going.
Kendall's loving
No,
this.
go ahead.
It literally never stopped you. I don't understand what you're saying.
No,
There's two
please.
children backstage. What do you mean?
Well, you said women. You didn't say children.
Okay, children
Oh
that
my
are
God.
also
Keep
women.
it moving.
Ugh. Kendall, thank you.
Kendall,
my
thank
God,
you
thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us.
Thanks, guys. So
Anytime.
fun.
Come
You guys
back.
are the best.
Glad we could help provide a good laugh this early in the morning.
Oh,
for you.
so
Come back
good.
anytime.
Oh yes, 'cause you're
Have
West
fun,
Coast.
guys.
Thanks, Kendall.
Take care,
Bye,
Kendall.
Kendall.
Oh,
And by faith.
Well, okay, at least let me
Yeah.
segue myself
Oh.
out. Gosh.
That's what I was- I was
Don't you
alluding-
want to say hi to Rowan and Maisy first? I mean,
No, I was trying to kick her out before.
well, don't
Let's
forget
get him.
Dave too. We gotta say hi to Dave.
You want to kick me out, Ryan? I'll kick you out.
Ryan, I got you, my guy. I got your
I was
back.
gonna ask
All right. Let's segue one
Okay.
person in and the other, or well, three people in and the
Right.
one person out.
Hello.
Hi, friends.
I
Hello.
love that you guys
How's
still have
everybody
Christmas
doing?
decorations up. That's fantastic.
We still haven't taken the Christmas decorations down. Yeah.
That's fine.
I
I
love it.
love it.
I still
I
have
love
my
it.
tree.
Hi, girls. How are you?
Nice.
I love that it's on, Ryan. Thank you. Hi, Ron and
Oh.
Maisie.
Hi.
Hello.
How did you guys finish in your sneaky syndicate leagues? Because I did terrible.
I'm pretty sure in one of my leagues I got a 7th, and one of them I got 3rd.
You got third.
Nice.
And one of
Nice.
mine I lost the toilet bowl.
That happens.
Well,
Is there
That's
a
okay.
it does
punishment?
happen.
Do you have to do something to get better at fantasy next year?
Mm-hmm.
Not
What
under
do you
dad.
There you go.
I
Make
love
her
that.
own
Like
decision.
the time Rowan's going against me, she always wins. Even this time, the first time I did, I was projected to win, and then Rowan just came back and won.
What do you?
Oh.
Sometimes that happens.
I had that happen a lot
Far
this
too
year.
often.
I was up by 80 points and someone came back to beat me.
Yikes.
Yeah, it
Projections
happens.
are just the site lying to you. For
Yes,
false
essentially.
confidence.
Yeah.
Yes, they give you a false hope, and that's the worst thing you can do is give a person hope.
Ex-
Good Lord.
that was dark. It was
That
really
was
dark.
pretty dark.
That was super dark. Okay.
Don't be embarrassed.
All right. Rowan and Maisy. What are your and Dave? What are your grievances from the season? I mean, obviously we have one that Rowan always beats me. So
That's
a
one.
grievance.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
toilet bowl. That's
And the
probably your other one, yeah.
I feel that. What else do you girls have? What
I-
made you mad?
I've
made you
got since I'm mad because I didn't make the playoffs.
I
Facts.
feel you. I
Facts.
I
feel
only
you.
made it in one league.
Right.
I made it in 0 leagues.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I may only made it in one league too. That's okay. You can't win them all.
Nope.
Or any of them, honestly.
Or
for that
yeah.
matter.
I'm mad that I don't remember doing anything in the playoffs.
It's okay. Like Texans fans and Bears fans have been mad at that for seasons. So, like before you guys were even born, was when the last time they made the playoffs. So
That's true.
But not remembering a
Oh,
bad
gosh.
season is a good thing. You can just move on to the next season and be
Exactly.
happy about it.
that's true. Yeah,
She's
Just have
shaking her head
selective
no.
amnesia.
No, she's shaking her head no. She wants vengeance.
she's coming for vengeance.
She'll learn, and she's gonna.
She's about to drop
gonna come back
3,000 points
stronger.
next season.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. No?
So my season-long grievance, I'm sure, has already been mentioned, and that's Kyle Pitts just being a flop.
You're only the
Surprisingly
second
enough,
person.
only 20
Wait,
minutes
yeah.
ago. It took an hour before anyone brought him up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess another season-long one is how come Deontay Johnson hasn't scored any touchdowns?
Yeah. Josh is really mad about that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't worry,
that
it's coming up later.
The funny part is too, like, there were times he was targeted in the end zone. It was just,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the balls just weren't even catchable for him. They weren't even in the same vicinity. But yeah, I mean, George Pickens found his way there. Didn't Chase Claypool have a reception touchdown before they traded him?
I think so. Yes, sir.
So
I think
like
so.
it everyone but the number one receiver. And granted, George Pickens looks like an absolute beast as a receiver. But
real potential there.
Here's
I think the emergence of Pat Fryermuth really killed the Deontay Johnson red zone.
Deontay Johnson.
But
is
you
the
know what, though?
number-
Nobody on that team has more than 3 receiving touchdowns. So, I mean, it's not even like this team just sucks in the red zone.
Deontay
That's
Johnson
really what it is.
Deontay Johnson is 10th in the league in targets inside the 20. And you have to scroll all the way down to past 50th in the league to find someone who hasn't scored a touchdown.
Oh boy.
Seriously?
I still haven't found it. Here we go. Deontay Johnson, 10th in the league, 16 inside the 20 targets. Number 65 is DeAndre Carter with 7 red zone targets and we know he scored a touchdown, but he did not score a red zone touchdown. So
that's
that's
bad.
a historically weird season.
Yeah, I mean,
137 targets on the year, 84 catches, 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's not like he hasn't been catching the ball. I mean, that's the
dark.
most frustrating part about it.
Absolutely pains me.
And then I guess my other grievance, I'm sure has already been mentioned as well. I got bit by Justin Jefferson in the championship. You know, guy carried my team all the way, and then just let us down when we needed him most.
Isn't that the first time that JJF has been brought up?
Someone threw it in as like a quick thing at the beginning of the show, actually. So
missed it.
3 people have brought up Justin Jefferson. Yeah. What are we talking about here? Yeah, no, yeah, everyone's very mad at Justin Jefferson. Everyone's mad at Mike Evans for the opposite reason.
Yes.
He killed you the first 16 weeks and then helped you in week 17. So obviously, if you had Mike Evans, I mean, if you made the championship, congratulations with Mike Evans. But good job, Brian. Yeah, this
most humble man in the stream here.
Second most humble man.
And I beat Josh.
I saw a great tweet, and I wish I could remember who tweeted it, but it was something to the effect of Mike Evans is positively killing it for people in their consolation game.
Yeah.
100%.
It really hit home because I was literally playing in the third place game against the guy who had Mike Evans. So I didn't come in third place in that league.
That's rough. That is rough.
That is.
Dave, Rowan, and Maisy. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying my team was better than his, top to bottom, but Mike Evans ruined it. So
Mike Evans changed a lot of fortunes.
Yeah.
There's always that one person that's just got to ruin it for everybody.
It's usually Mike Evans.
Normally me.
Oh, Dave, Rowan, and Maisy, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to run the sneaky flex back next year. It's gonna be so much fun.
I'm sure you girls have heard it a lot, but you guys are amazing. It is my favorite thing to watch. I never leave that show without a smile on my face. Keep being yourselves. You guys are fantastic.
Love every minute of producing that show. It's so much fun.
Hooray.
I got to guest host once this season, and I laughed the entire time.
It's a fun time.
My favorite thing. Britt, who's actually, you know what? Britt, I'm just gonna add you early, and you can
What?
tell them in person.
Hi, girls.
Who's Britt?
It's
Say
great to meet y'all.
Whoa.
What did she say? I missed it.
She said she's gonna fall backwards, and then she did.
Oh, well, you know, she's a woman of her word. I like that.
Smart. Oh.
Yes, girls, y'all are super smart, and I cannot tell you how amazing you are and how much fun it is to play in a league with you guys. And I look forward to many, many years of getting my butt kicked by you guys. So
And I look forward to beating you and hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's the
Let
perfect
the
ending.
trash talk begin.
That's the perfect ending. Thank you, girls.
I
Thank
beat
you.
my own girl.
We'll
I
see you in a
beat my
little
own producer. I beat Kelly.
Boom.
Yeah.
I beat Kelly.
Bye,
No.
girls.
Bye, girl.
Bye.
Bye,
Dave.
Dave. Bye, girls.
All right.
They're so much fun.
You
I
know,
love
I'm really
them.
glad I stuck around for that.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, for the first time in 2023, but for the last time this season, I am signing off for Start Different Day. Have good luck if you are still in the playoffs in week 18.
Good luck finding a
If
new
you
league
are
next
going
Yeah, good luck
exactly,
finding a
go
new
find a new league. If your team is in the playoffs, your actual NFL team, good luck with that. And until next season starts, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Dogs and frogs, baby.
Bye, Faith.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Have a good day. Okay, Ryan, you get back in the basement.
Where I
And
belong.
from one long-haired person to another.
To another.
Luscious mane. He's got it all the way around, too. Travi, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy.
What's going on, guys?
It's been a minute.
Yes, it has. How's everybody doing this Saturday morning? I noticed you guys are pretty brave. You know, the old adage is, I don't have any complaints. Nobody would listen to me if I did. But we're gonna make a whole show about complaints. and
Oh,
hope
not
that
even
people
that.
listen.
We do it for 2 whole hours.
Yeah,
It's our longest show of the year.
It's
And it's usually our most viewed show of the year.
But I think
Yeah.
you guys are doing the Lord's work because it's like it's
We
therapy for everyone, you know. So it's like we get to get in here and just talk about these things in our fake football leagues that really pissed us off. So I actually appreciate it. I was trying to get Josh to give me more time. He said, "Look, a lot of people want to air out their grievances. We can't give you any more time." So that makes sense.
10 minutes. That's all you got.
What,
Dive into it.
what do you got? Go right into it. What do you got?
I think the one I'll start with this one because it's kind of the touchiest one to get into. But I just thought this was a very anticlimactic and shitty way to end the championship season. I'm in multiple leagues where I had great teams that I was proud of putting together and drafting, and then had to feel really weird. First of all, Damar Hamlin's story this week has been amazing. His recovery has been awesome. It's been, refreshing Twitter every day to try and get more updates and see where he's at has been amazing. But it felt like the rotten cherry on top of a really weird and shitty fantasy football season for a lot of, scoring. League-wide scoring was down. If you compare it to years past, I've heard on this show, and I'm sure I'll say it here too. Quarterbacks. We were told for years we could wait on quarterback. And if we waited this year, it absolutely tanked your roster. Yeah. And I've heard a couple different theories. I think Troy Aikman was on ESPN talking about how offensive line play is down, and that's affected quarterback play. The more injuries that, they've had less time to throw, all those kind of things, decision-making's down. So I just thought the way this championship, happened for so many people. I mean, millions of dollars, millions of hours and friendships. I was reading on Reddit, this is going to ruin friendships and leagues. And I thought, no, there's no way. And I literally had a blow up yesterday in a league with a really good friend of mine over this. And so it's just another situation where it's like, man, can we just be adults and understand that this crazy stuff happens. We play a game of luck. This is one of the most unfortunate things to happen. But it did happen, and that's where it's at. So that's probably my major grievance. I know it's fresh. And I also just wanted to speak to people that are I think at first you're trying to make sure Damar Hamlin's okay.
make sure that we have the right priorities, but then you care about your fantasy leagues. And I think it's okay for you to care about your fantasy leagues and care about what happens with your championship, especially in these dynasty leagues where you're playing multiple years and back to back with these same people and these same rosters. So wanted to give a little bit of hope for people that you could care about that stuff and still care about DeMar Hamlin. It's possible. We are complicated human beings. We can do both. So but for just a hard fantasy football, I know it was brought up. Russell Wilson, man, the whole AFC West, to be honest with you, because I remember just salivating at these over-unders that were supposed to be from that division and all of the fantasy implications. And really every team disappointed you. I don't think we had a certain, other than Travis Kelce for the Chiefs, there wasn't much you're like, the running backs were a headache the entire year. Juju Smith-Schuster was maybe in and out of the lineup for you. You never knew when to kind of get him in there. And then Pat Mahomes obviously did his thing. I thought that was good. But the Chargers had their injuries. And I obviously the Raiders, I was Josh Jacobs is another grievance because I don't know how I let one game in the Hall of Fame game just dictate my entire approach to a player across like almost 10 leagues. So I don't know. That's some of the stuff I'm a little pissed off about. I wish I got more Josh Jacobs. That's for sure.
Yeah, people really did go in after that Hall of Fame game.
I know I should have, right?
I remember saying it because we talked about Jacobs, and there was a whole thing of like, well, there's a lot of mouths to feed between Renfrow, Waller, and Adams. Who's going to fall by the wayside? Everyone's like, Josh Jacobs. Apparently, Hunter Renfrow is no longer a thing now, and that hurts my heart. They just didn't want to throw to him at all.
Yeah.
Waller gets hurt, and you're like, oh, McDaniels, they're going to come in and utilize the tight end and the slot receiver. What do they
especially
do?
the small white slot receiver for McDaniels. That it was like made in heaven right there.
He's literally had Hunter Renfrow the last 14 years as an offensive coordinator, and he says, no, we're not going to use him anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, even at points in time, like Devontae Adams was irrelevant. The offense was Josh Jacobs. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's really weird for an offense. Like I know he had singular backs that he trusted, but not to that extent, not to full bell cow. He at least would rotate guys in for different roles. So I thought that was frustrating. And then, like you said, with Renfrow, I mean, I picked up Renfrow late in so many leagues because it's hard to do what he did last year. It's hard to be that good and demand those kind of targets. And I know that he had Waller out. We had a Waller out for most of this year too. So yeah, it was a really strange year for the Raiders and just the AFC West in general. And then, man, I think trying to be hyped on Cortland Sutton and Russell Wilson and how could it go wrong? And I mean, it went the wrongest it could go. Like, yeah.
I was high. I was super high on the Broncos. I had them winning the division.
Yeah.
And I was high on the Raiders and Derek Carr too. And what I failed to take into account for teams like the Chargers that I always take into account was coaching.
Right.
I didn't take into account that it apparently takes people 17 seasons to get Josh McDaniels' system down.
Yeah.
I didn't take into account that, Nathaniel Hackett maybe isn't a great coach.
I think that was the biggest misjudgment was any faith in Nathaniel Hackett. Like,
It was a blind spot for me too, because I'm a Packers fan and we hired Hackett, right? And that was the whole play for the Broncos. I don't think they really wanted Russ. They wanted Rodgers. That's why they hired Hackett, because of the connection.
100%.
So, but my blind spot was like, I knew Hackett sucked from his days in Jacksonville. And I knew he sucked when he came to the Packers because it was the Adam Gase thing. Rodgers just made this guy look good because of the offense that Rodgers has command of, or LaFleur. And it's like, for me, I was like, it was a blind spot. But I just thought Russ's play, off script, rolling out, hero balls. I thought that was going to be enough, especially for a guy like Sutton.
And then he did none of it.
Yeah. And no rushing until like the last couple weeks. Yeah. Now he's running. It's like, dude, where was this at? So
we could have used that, buddy.
I think that was Hackett's system, was stay in the pocket, throw the football.
Yeah.
And he was exposed. I don't know. I mean, he'll probably still get an OC job somewhere, or
absolutely,
quarterbacks coach or something.
It'll be interesting because you compared him to Adam Gase, and that's a very apt comparison. And Denver was on the other side of that, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does bounce back in his career. Hackett.
Yeah, probably not any. You'll have to start, back at the bottom and work back up for sure. But
100%.
yeah, I think that's it. And then I don't know if I'm interested to see. This isn't so much a grievance, but back on quarterbacks really quickly. I'm interested to see how we adjust because again, this was a very low scoring season, and so many teams were buoyed by great quarterback play. Do we then go take quarterback early again next year? And do we overcorrect? Are we going to get a little bit better scoring next year and then therefore maybe a deeper QB pool? So I'm really interested to see how we adjust and how it all shakes out and be at this time next year and say, where are we at on quarterbacks as well?
Well, that's
because a couple guys did poke through.
We do. Will end up coming into play.
Yeah,
right?
we'll figure it out for sure. Absolutely. I just think guys like Trevor Lawrence and Tua that have kind of poked in, and we'll see what happens with Tua's career, but these guys that kind of snuck in give a little bit hope for a deeper QB class if we can get more consistency out of these guys.
And the fact that you were able to get Justin Fields later free. And so there's still the story out there that you can hit late. It just didn't work as well this year.
Yeah.
Especially when you look that I brought this up a couple Mondays ago. The top three guys, Allen, Mahomes, and Hurts outscored everybody by 5 fantasy points, and that's a pretty big gap to overcome.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Travi. Anything else?
No, I mean, that's it. I could go on for, hours, but I know we got other things to do. But I appreciate you guys doing this for one, and I appreciate all the work you guys did this year. And having me write with you guys was a blessing, and I appreciate just my last note, and anti-grievances. I just love the way the community rallied this year. Really terrible things happened all year long. I think in personal lives, obviously with sickness and stuff like that. And I think that this community rallied around each other. And just to you guys, specifically Club Fantasy, rallying around me and my personal stuff really was a big help to me and really just showed me that this is what it's about. This community is amazing. And just the vibe and the culture you guys are building, I think is amazing. So love you guys. Appreciate being on here and have a good rest of your show.
Appreciate it, Travi. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Have a good one, man. All right. And from Travis, there's no real
finale.
The
final
finale.
guest.
Hi, guys.
Finale.
Hello,
there it is.
Oh,
there we go.
Joe.
I like it.
Oh, he's so good.
How's it going, guys?
Lovely. How are you?
I'm good.
Right.
One of my talking points was taken by Trav, but I think
Go for it.
It wasn't my talking point personally. I think it was the entire fantasy community's talking point, and that was the Broncos and the absolute shit show that offense was. So I won't dwell on that. I know we've all talked about that, but the Falcons, man, the freaking Falcons. How do you have the two towers in Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and yet you still pass at the second lowest rate in the entire league?
Yeah.
Like, I had so many shares of Kyle Pitts, and it absolutely ruined me.
And it's not even like they were talented at running back. Like, there was no need to do this.
No, like I think it was more
Algier.
just. Well, Algier came on later, but he's a rookie. It's going to take him time to develop into that system, and he eventually did, and we saw that. But I think it was more of an indictment on Mariota's abilities as a quarterback. I think that they were absolutely terrified. And instead of going out and getting another quarterback or letting Ritter have a shot at it, they're just like, oh, screw it. We're just going to run and be predictable. But we're trying to win games. No, BS. Stupid, awful, ruined a ton of things that I had going.
And we talked about this a lot during the season, though. It's almost like how bad that division was, and them staying in the playoff race was to their detriment. Like, if they could have just been eliminated and transitioned to Ritter, we could have seen a way different season out of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep, exactly.
We said before the season of the show, we thought Tampa was going to boat race the entire division because your other quarterbacks were.
I mean, they boat raced them, but they're just going at the same pace as everybody else.
Yeah,
that's all.
I guess, but yeah, I mean, we're talking. Your quarterbacks are Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, and then eventually when Desmond Ritter takes over, and then the mess of the Carolina Panthers.
The trifecta
we didn't
roulette.
factor in the Todd Bowles effect. That's what we forgot to factor in there.
Yeah, and Todd Bowles is not a good head coach. He's a fantastic defensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach, which is why Eric Bieniemy will never take a head coaching job, because his name is going to get dragged through the mud when people realize he's actually not that good of a coach. It's been Andy Reid this entire time.
Yeah,
it's been Matt LaFleur and not Nathaniel Hackett.
And Adam Gase versus Peyton Manning.
People can make other people look really good when they're so good, even though the other person sucks.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Tom Brady did not have the best of receivers throughout his tenure in New England at points and times. I mean, he was throwing guys, David Givens. He made Ben Watson a relevant tight end in football. And granted, Ben Watson, I think, is a very underrated all-around tight end, but there was no business for Ben Watson being a receiving tight end the way that he was. He made average guys look really, really good. Guys can do that. I mean, put Alan Lazard on any other team. How good is Alan Lazard outside of Aaron Rodgers?
He's a great blocker.
He's a fantastic. Well, he's 6'6". I hope he's a good blocker. He's going up against guys 5'8". But yeah, it's like those little things. You put guys on certain teams, situations, they make guys around them better. Those are the best guys in the NFL. Nathaniel Hackett makes nobody better. So
yep. No, and I kind of wonder, like, obviously Hackett already got fired. I wonder what kind of leash that Arthur Smith is going to be on this season after.
I think he's okay.
I probably, honestly, he probably is. But I swear to God, if I have to go through another season of Kyle Pitts being the Ferrari in the lean-to carport of a trailer park, I'm going to lose my mind.
What an analogy. I was waiting where you were going for the Ferrari. I love that.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, though, right? The meme that it's like, oh, this and that, and da-da-da-da.
Brett, I'm not going to lie to you. That seems like a massive Arkansas type analogy right there.
I mean, you would be surprised. I actually wondered where they got the photo for that meme when I saw it.
Pretty sure it was Florida,
this could be straight out of Arkansas.
That was a fantastic analogy. Something I brought up that I don't know if you know this, because someone did. The first person to bring up Kyle Pitts was an hour into the show, which was shocking. But I brought up the fact Marcus Mariota had the highest intended air yards per pass attempt in the league at 10.4. So every time he was throwing for a first down.
That's crazy.
Which is asinine to think about. And I think it speaks to the fact that it is a lot on Arthur Smith maybe as a coach and not being able to coach up Mariota, and maybe the QB's coach, whatever it is too. But Kyle Pitts was open. Like, Kyle Pitts was open on these plays. There wasn't the passing volume to get him enough targets, but he was open. His quarterback just was bottom 7 in the NFL in completion percentage at 61%.
Mm-hmm.
If you, and I brought this up, if you had Mac Jones, who was dead center in the league in completion percentage, Kyle Pitts is probably a top 10 quarterback. And that is awful to think about, considering Mac Jones can't even throw to Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Yeah. So you just got to, like, Pitts is open on plays. He's a mismatch on every play. Nobody can cover him. He's a mismatch at the tight end position. They just ran the football 65% of the time. They took the Derrick Henry approach when they don't have Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
And that was a big worry with Arthur Smith. I think he's a great offensive coordinator, but he's not a good head coach.
And then that made that backfield that much more confusing too, because they didn't have one workhorse back. And so it was split between Patterson and Algier and Huntley, and you never really knew who to play. So even if you were stashing some of those players, they weren't consistent from week to week, and you couldn't get consistent production out of them. The whole thing was just a damn headache. And I hated it. It made me so angry. And then, of course, by the end of the year, Algier comes on, and by then you've probably dropped him or whatever, and he's not worth it.
He's on the verge of a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah. And he averaged 5.5 yards per carry. He was super efficient. But so Britt, you're a big college football fan. Something that Josh brought up before the season, actually, as free agency was happening last year, he said Leonard Fournette to the Falcons. And we all thought that was going to be big because he'd be the workhorse there. Makes sense. He goes back to Tampa. I believe Travi just brought up, or somebody before him, there's about 16 to 17 really freaking good running backs coming out this year. Mm-hmm. If one of them lands at Atlanta in the anything above the second round, are you falling for the trap that just let's just say for shits and giggles, Bijan Robinson lands in Atlanta? If he somehow becomes an Atlanta Falcon, are you taking the bait and drafting Bijan Robinson probably as an RB1?
As in Dynasty, you have to go talent over situation. So yes, I think so.
Redraft. Dynasty, I think Robinson's I think he's probably going to be 1, 2, 3, however you want to interchange it, depending on league structure.
Wherever.
But redraft, if you're going into, you're just doing it this year, are you taking Bijan Robinson as an RB1 in the Falcons offense?
Yeah.
Probably, right? Because you
Well,
saw how much they ran.
Josh, I brought this up on, again, a couple Mondays ago, and Josh already knocked the analogy out of the park. It's Michael Carter and Breece Hall all over again, because Tyler Algier is a mid-round pick. They have no loyalty to him whatsoever. So if they invest highly in a running back, they're going to give him the keys, much the way they did with Breece Hall. So,
yep.
Yeah, if I have Tyler Algier in Dynasty, I have zero issue trading him and just getting whatever I can at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you have to assume Atlanta's going to take maybe not a Bijan, but a top.
It's just with how deep this class is. I mean, you look at Bijan, you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, Sean Tucker, Devin Ashane, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Like the list goes on and on. Like there's so many talented running backs in this class. And I think that's ultimately just going to push everybody further up, because you have so many of these other positions that just really aren't that deep outside of running back. And I think that's kind of where we've been at with the wide receiver position over the last couple of years, because it's been both top heavy and deep. So many of these receivers get pushed up. And that's why some of these running backs have been pushed back. And guys like Algier went in the 5th round versus maybe the 3rd in a normal draft.
Well, and I think that's another thing to talk about next year's draft, is that the quarterbacks are so deep as well. So some of these quarterbacks who vastly underperformed, that, you know, you drafted at kind of high draft capital and didn't produce for you, how much danger are they in of losing their spot? So I think next year is going to be really cool. I'm just chalking this year up to, you know, it was an anomaly. I don't think that this year really went the way that a lot of us thought that it was going to go.
No.
And that kind of transitions me to my next point. We're out here as analysts. We're reading the tea leaves as far as looking at the stats, looking at the metrics, looking at things. We're looking at things in April and May before they've even suited up in sweatpants and shorts to go out there. Can people quit shitting on analysts for their hypotheses preseason?
Educated guesses.
Yeah. Can we just stop doing that? Because all that does is make people more just kind of self-conscious and reticent to put out their takes when this happens preseason. We're not going to get everything right 100% of the time. Hell, sometimes even 50% of the time, depending on how injuries and trades and things of that nature play out. Just quit being dicks to analysts, especially preseason. Like, we're going to get it wrong. Just, you know.
Yeah, I love when people are like, when someone has a take in April and they're like, I'm going to remind you about this in December. I'm like, motherfucker, that was 8 months ago. I don't care.
Yes. I had somebody in my big money home league do that to me we all know that I was kind of hesitant about Mahomes. That turned out to be incredibly wrong. And I'm happy for Mahomes that I was wrong. But that take was in late April, early May. And my league mate brought this up and is like, yeah, this you. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, yes, I was wrong. I've admitted that I was wrong. But by doing this, I don't want to say anything anymore. So just be nice to people. Just freaking be nice. We're not going to get everything right. Yeah. It's not hard. And maybe that's me going out on a personal note, because
it's really good, because it's such a good point. And we've kind of seen the ebbs and flows of this on fantasy Twitter throughout the years, where other analysts will go at each other. But I think we've even seen that calm down a little bit outside of, the little goofy fantasy receipts and all that dumb shit. But whatever. But we've seen analysts not go at each other so hard because they realize I'm wrong too. So what is even the point? And so I feel like,
don't worry, give it like 3 months. It's going to pick right back up. We're going to be at each other's throats again.
Oh yeah. When dynasty season starts, it's going to be
the second season ends. Fantasy Twitter is a shit show from January to July. I say it every single year, and it'll all be bad. And
it's clockwork.
We'll all hate everybody's draft picks and all that kind of fun stuff, because that's what we do. So,
but this is just your reminder. Just be nice. Don't be a dick.
Hashtag don't be a dick. It's in the Twitter profile, baby.
Yeah. Brett, anything else that you have?
Oh man, I feel like I'm a little miffed at Justin Herbert, but why did that offense have to run through Austin Eckler? Why couldn't they throw any kind of touchdowns the second half of the season? Herbert dropped from, I think, at one point he was QB4 all the way down to like QB14 or something like that. I mean, just awful. And he has so many good weapons, especially that happened when all his weapons came back. He was actually hanging in there.
That's the part, Britt. Thank you. That was in my notes.
Yes. So it makes zero sense. Really pisses me off. We were all rooting for you, Justin. We were all rooting for you. And it sucks because he just fell, especially at ADP where you drafted him, just completely shot your team in the foot.
Yeah. Why did we need Munster, DeAndre Carter, and Josh Palmer weeks? Like, come the fuck on. Like, it made no sense whatsoever.
To speak on Eckler, because it's kind of funny, there is, I think I just counted 3 or 4 guys inside the top 20 of running backs with less than 900, or just say less rushing yards than Austin Eckler. One is Eckler at 881. He is the fantasy RB1 by almost 30 points.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Christian McCaffrey, is over 1,000. You have to go down to 11 to Leonard Fournette, who has 668 rushing yards. Mixon at 12 with 799. James Conner at 16 with 782. Kamara at 18 with 790. In the biggest middle finger of them all, Jerick McKinnon at 285 rushing yards, RB20.
Oh.
I don't even think he was an RB70 5 weeks ago.
No.
So, yeah.
Caught fire at the right time.
I mean, if that just shows you how much Eckler was involved in the offense, 123 targets on the season. He's caught 103 of them.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Absurd.
And then, but despite all those targets, once they get down to the red zone, then it's like, no, we're just going to run him. So it doesn't even work out for Herbert in that situation. And it's maddening. It was so maddening.
Yeah,
so,
and Herbert finishes the year at QB 12. So after what felt like, 3 or 4 just really bad weeks in a row to end the season?
I'm really curious to see what their draft strategy is going to look like going into April and all of that, because I feel like this is a team that you could potentially see Michael Mayer, the number 1 tight end in this draft from Notre Dame, end up there. And that could really hamper Austin Eckler's red zone touches and start leaning some of those touchdowns over towards Herbert and potentially the tight end position.
Why do we keep putting tight ends from Notre Dame so high on our lists? Why do we?
This kid's good. Like, way better than Cole Kmet for starters.
I'll believe a good Notre Dame NFL football skill player when I see it. So, because I haven't fucking seen it. So
rude.
Go into the Dynasty Nerds film room. Watch some tape on Michael Mayer. That guy's good.
Hey,
he's good at football.
I'll believe you. Okay, I believe you. You know what I don't believe in? The institution that is Notre Dame and what they have produced at skill position players. They haven't done anything of late. Every other position, fine. They're okay. Can't produce at the skill position because they get to pick and choose their dog shit opponents they play every year. So, Arkansas doesn't get to choose that they play their SEC teams. They have to play SEC teams.
Yep.
Notre Dame can go and play Navy every single year and curb stomp them because Navy throws the football once.
Yep. Very easy game plan.
Exactly. They get to pick and choose who they play. Teams like Arkansas and teams that, are in conferences don't. So, Britt, anything else?
No, I think that's it. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. And thank you for having me on here. And I just love this community and love you guys and everything that you guys have done for me and building up, the Her Story podcast and just the Women of Fantasy Football. I love you guys. So just wanted to, yes. I was like, where's my camera? I was doing it right here. Like nobody can see it.
No. up here.
But yeah, really appreciate you guys. And
well, we'll see Britt on Tuesday for the next episode of Her Story featuring Julie Papworth from the Fantasy Footballers.
Yes, gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
we've already had some good chats. I'm super stoked to have her. So
awesome.
Very cool. Love it.
Thank you, Britt.
Thanks, Britt.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. All right. To the boys
End of the
now.
show.
To the boys. I am going to go through the starred real quick that we have.
Yeah,
Czar says, who has 2 thumbs and had Josh Allen and some Bengals in 6 out of 7 championships?
Yikes.
Not me, because I wasn't in any
I
championships.
say nothing you can do. Let it go and move on.
Yeah, you kind of got, you don't want to say screwed, but unfortunate circumstances. One of my grievances is those BS design runs Dable calls for Daniel Jones at the goal line all the time. That should clearly go to Saquon. Should have had way more touchdowns on the season. Yeah. I agree with you. Daniel Jones is QB7 on the season.
And that's on the back of rushing yards and touchdowns.
708.
I mean, it's what we
yards.
preach. Right? Quarterbacks that can run are valuable fantasy assets.
Well,
and really, the big thing with Daniel Jones this season has been he's learned how to hang on to the football. And that's a huge credit to Brian Dable.
It's funny because I think Travis said, we can't wait on quarterbacks anymore. I kind of disagree with that.
People weren't drafting Daniel Jones.
That's what I'm saying. You can Fields, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones.
We drafted the wrong late quarterbacks is all it really comes down to.
Yeah, but all those guys you could have picked up on waivers. I picked up.
Well, I mean, even Kirk Cousins, he's had a decent season. He's been a top 12.
Geno Smith saved so many of my seasons.
Oh,
You know what's funny? I was going through because we're getting ready to do our rankings accountability shows starting on Thursday, and I was going through and looking at the quarterbacks. The highest any of our consensus rankers at Club Fantasy had Geno Smith was me at QB 30.
Wow.
And he finished as a top 10 quarterback this year.
Yep.
This to me is one of the craziest things. Justin Fields, who was free.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And you want to know why? Is because he had 192 completions on the year. Would you like to know how far down you have to scroll to get to somebody with less pass completions?
It's got to be 35.
Some kind of backup that only played 6 games or 5 games.
19 at Marcus Mariota, 184. You want to know why he's that high? 438 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. Further down, Baker Mayfield at 29. There are 4 guys inside the top 30 with less pass attempts than Fields, and it's Mariota, Mayfield, Taylor Heineke, and then you can add Carson Wentz in there at 31.
Yeah.
Find a guy who can run. Unless your name is Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, throw Joe Burrow in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson was obviously injured, but Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Tua, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, all finished lower than Justin Fields.
And his 192 completions.
Justin Fields had less pass attempts than some of those guys had completions. Doesn't matter anymore. Literally doesn't matter anymore. Ryan, I had JJ went up against Evans and Brady. Nice, campers. That's a good time. Who is Scott and how do I get in his fishbowl next year? Asked Zara.
Zara, stick around. We will make sure you go to scottfishbowl.com. You can actually go through and register for next year's Scott Fishbowl 13. So if you do that, put in all of your information, stay tuned with us all throughout the off season. We'll keep everybody updated when Scott's going through and start doing all of his waves. If you follow us on Twitter, I can make sure to tag you. And Scott's really good about getting people in that obviously are very involved in, certain communities and things of that nature. So
yeah,
we got you.
But go sign up because he can't get you in if you can't sign up.
Correct.
Yeah. Like me, I was literally I was literally person 3,000 of 3,000 that probably signed up.
Yeah.
I literally signed up and the draft started 15 minutes later. So, hey, what do you know? And I came in the top 300. So God, must suck if you join early. Is there a worse team for fantasy this year than the Ravens? Lamar Jackson injured. Mark Andrews, obviously up and down. I mean, he's still Mark Andrews finished top 5, I still think, right?
Yeah, he was tight end 4 on the year.
He just obviously he was non-existent for a few weeks in the middle of the season. That was crucial. J.K. Dobbins injured up and down. I mean, not even just Devin Duvernay. Talk about the entire wide receiver
Rashad
room.
Bateman, got hurt.
Yeah, hurt. Yeah.
Entire wide receiver room. I was in the finals in Maisie's, but got my butt whooped by Kira. Shout out,
Sorry,
Kira.
Wendy.
The start Mike Evans in week 17 was the best advice the girls gave this year.
Sneaky girls hit it on the head there.
Yep.
He had Allens, Chase, Higgins, Mixon, McPherson all on one team, projected to win by 40, lost by 20, ended up donating the pot, but I'm still pissed.
It's rough.
I mean, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say you probably would have won the game if you're down by 20 at that point. But yes, I mean, kudos to you for donating the pot. That's awesome. Neck and neck going into the Bills-Bengals game. He had Bass. His opponent had Buffalo's defense. I now have come in second 5 of 6 years. Thanks for nothing, Justin Jefferson. I mean, Lee, at least you're in second, dude. I mean, you're winning money, at least. Mike Evans is my grievance because he crushed me throughout the season in every other league I had him. Fact.
Yeah.
Flip actually has a question. Would you trust playing Josh Jacobs week 18 as a flex? Other options, Jonathan Williams, Mostert, Cortland Sutton, Jeff Wilson Jr., Deonta Foreman. It's a PPR league. There are 2 guys playing for something, and it's Mostert or Jeff Wilson. Those are the only 2 guys I am starting.
Deontay Foreman's playing for a contract. He's interesting just because he's continued to run well, but they're now getting Chuba Hubbard involved. I'm probably
He's also on the verge of a 1,000-yard season, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd go Mostert or Jeff Wilson. I don't know which
Jonathan
one.
Williams is fun just because they have nobody else. I
think I'd still probably play Jacobs. I mean, it really doesn't seem like the Raiders are taking their foot off the gas and like sitting starters. Like they're playing it out. And, for as wrong as myself and Ryan were about Josh Jacobs in week 17 against San Francisco, he's, obviously against Kansas City today is a much better matchup than that. I'd probably go Jacobs. And if you don't feel comfortable, I'd ride Foreman because, again, he has something to play for. He's playing for that contract. This is a guy that tore his Achilles his rookie year, and it's taken him almost 7 years to bounce back. And for him to get that 1,000-yard season, I think would mean a lot to him and also even the Panthers organization as a whole. So, yeah.
Raheem Mostert, they're the only team playing for a playoff spot right now. And Teddy Bridgewater / Skylar Thompson are their quarterbacks. So, there we go there. Even pro gamblers are right under 50% of the time. We are glorified fortune tellers. Yep. Yes. One last grievance from George. Brandon Cooks. Drafted him in round 6 as a high floor, consistent flex play. Didn't work out so well. It's a name I completely forgot about there. But again,
I didn't have him in my thing either.
He was a bulk of my championship season to Ryan, aka Mr. Play Mike Evans in every week start sit stream.
Yep.
So, yay and nay, I guess, to you, Ryan.
That's right.
But any quick grievances?
Started him when it mattered.
Any quick grievances here from the peanut gallery?
So, Joe, I did this one specifically for you. I
course
went
you
and
did.
counted. It was a lot of counting. How many 2-touchdown games do you think happened this season? 2 or more?
2 touchdowns.
And how many did you call? That's the question.
I didn't go back and see how many I called.
Not how many
I just
you
put that I
called,
suck
but
at
how
predicting.
many there were.
How many do you think happened, though? Because you know how bad I am at predicting them. But
There was. I feel like there's a decent amount. I would say. I want to say like 53.
Josh?
I was going to say like 37.
137, actually.
What?
That's obviously not counting quarterbacks, correct?
No, it was just I should have went in and looked for quarterback rushing touchdowns, but it was not
Fair
counting
enough.
passing touchdowns. I didn't, so that's not counting quarterback.
137.
And
Hey,
you
got
get a
37
single
more,
one.
right?
And
You
I'm
didn't get a
just
single
awful
one.
at predicting them.
Wow.
The only other one I'm going to throw out there, I guess it's 2 of them because it's about not using players. Not using Cordero Patterson. We've shit on the Falcons enough. 2 targets per game, 4 targets in 2021. And I didn't even think the 4 targets in 2021 were enough. Only 2 this season. But the one that really bothers me in general, what the hell was the Buffalo Indianapolis Nyheim Hines trade? Nyheim Hines has 11 touches since becoming a Buffalo Bill. What the hell was that trade?
They got him to return kicks, I'm telling you.
He can barely do that.
Because I'm wondering if somebody else was in the race and Buffalo was trying to play keep away, Nyheim Hines maybe, or Miami Dolphins maybe. Like, I don't know if there was someone Buffalo was trying to keep him from. Like, it's such a weird situation to bring this guy in who we have seen be a functioning NFL running back and just be like, fuck you, bro. You aren't doing anything.
That to me, I bring in Nyheim Hines to return kicks or punts, whatever he's doing. You're telling me Isaiah McKenzie can't do that? You're telling me nobody on your free. You don't even need to return kicks anymore in the NFL.
Yeah. So yeah,
you
that
just
would
need to
bother
not
me.
fumble them.
Yes, 100%.
That's the big thing. You need to not fumble them.
Okay.
And
so,
Zach Moss wasn't a returner, and I think really too that trade for Hines kind of coincided with James Cook figuring it out in that offense and being able to handle.
So did they bring
the
in
late
Hines
work, the
simply
passing
to
game.
light a fire under James Cook?
Hey, could very well be.
Yeah.
If that's all it cost was a 6th round pick, all right, and a running back you weren't using, okay.
So now what? They're just going to let Nyheim Hines go next year? That's what this is. He's going to be.
I don't know if he's under contract.
Singletary's a
I think
free
he
agent,
signed
though.
like a 3-year deal a few years ago. So I don't know if he has 1 year left or if he's a free agent at the end of the year. But
if he's a free agent, someone's getting a really good 3rd down running back at a discount price. So honestly, he could be maybe not a 3-down guy, but a rotational piece as a 1B in an offense easily.
There you go.
Anything else, gentlemen?
I'll name a few. Obviously, I got to start with Deontay Johnson. I mean, 137 targets and no touchdowns. Like I knew this season would be a little rough because it's you start with Trubisky and then you go into Pickett, and the late game heroics from Pickett of late have been quite impressive to watch. I'm just waiting on him to figure out. Yeah, I'm waiting on him to figure out the first 3 quarters of football because there's some issues there. But, I want to see how this Steelers team operates this offseason, with the cap and the draft picks. They've got to get some offensive linemen in there because Najee is not efficient behind them and Pickett doesn't have a lot of time to process and find the reads. And if a young quarterback can't do that, he's going to flame out of the league very quickly.
Yep.
I'll touch, Brandon Cooks, Darnell Mooney were kind of those guys in the middle rounds that you're like, hey, these are, steals. Even before Mooney got hurt, like we knew that again, this was gonna be, it was gonna be a little rough, but they were passing at a historically low rate. The Chicago Bears were like just not letting Fields throw the football at all. And I will give Fields a lot of credit. Ryan, you and we talked a lot this offseason, especially when we were doing our projections. Like Justin Fields, while extremely athletic, did not want to run the football at Ohio State.
Yep.
Like he wanted to sit in the pocket and he wanted to throw. Towards the end of last season, you started to watch him run. Looking at, this offense that the Bears were bringing in, kind of replicating what, LaFleur and Hackett and them ran in Green Bay, we didn't want to assume that, Fields was going to run because, it wasn't the system and really it wasn't his game. But there was just a switch that went off in this kid's head. And it's like, look, if I'm going to move this offense, I have to run the football.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. But now it's getting to a point where because the weapons around him are so bad, he is moving off of that first read so quickly and just saying, all right, I got to go. I got to get this guy. I got to get this first down. I got to run the football. And it worries me going into next season because now he has completely flipped his mentality that if that first read isn't there, he's got to run. It
set him back and break him.
That's what I'm saying. It can be very detrimental to his growth as a passer because I think that there is a lot of tools there for him to be an effective passer in this league. He needs the weapons and he needs the time to be able to process it, but he needs the coaching to say, look, we know you can run the football, but you've got to work through these reads. And I want to see him be able to do that.
The turning point was the Patriots game when they literally started calling high school quarterback runs for him. I think I've been saying it forever. If Justin Fields is going to be relevant, he needs to run the football. He can't pass. He physically cannot throw a football. 192 completions at the NFL level is a joke. That is an absolute joke.
For a full-time starter.
For a full-time starter. That is an absolute
I also,
joke.
but look, out of all the quarterbacks and all of the weapons on these teams in the NFL,
joke.
You cannot tell me that the Bears aren't 32 out of 32 teams.
100%. Not even close.
I know the Patriots are bad, but
Can we put the Patriots there too? Can we just put them there?
Ramondre Stevenson, Jacoby Myers are better than anything.
Yeah, the Bears are 32 out of 32 in weapons right now. Like, it is awful.
Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson.
I'm actually shocked he has 192 completions, if we're being honest here.
Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson literally have the exact same amount of passing yards. 2,242.
Really?
2,242 is the number of passing yards. Now, you're asking, Joe, that's interesting. If you go all the way down, where does that put him among starting quarterbacks? Well, guys that have actually played the amount of games he has, 15, nobody. Yeah. Literally nobody. The next guy you have to go up to that played the same amount of games as him or more is Daniel Jones, who has 1,000 more passing yards than he does. Guys like Kyler Murray, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, Mac Jones, Davis Mills, Matt Ryan all played less games than Justin Fields, have more passing yards than him, but are currently ranked about 15 spots lower than him in terms of end-of-year fantasy points.
Yep.
Because he has 1,143
it's the simplest math
yards.
ever. 100 passing yards is worth 4 fantasy points. 100 rushing yards is worth 10 fantasy points. So,
it's in. If they continue to run a high school style offense, Justin Fields is a top 5 quarterback moving forward. There is no question. He's a top 5 quarterback moving forward who will throw for less than 200 pass completions. And that's fucked up.
The last grievance I want to throw in, and it's just because Scampers kind of brings this up in the chat. The whole Melvin Gordon thing in Denver was absolutely baffling to me, because as much as we were, praising Javonte Williams and how good he is as a running back, Nathaniel Hackett only wanted to give Melvin Gordon the football.
And then they just cut him.
And then Javonte Williams gets hurt and then didn't want to it's like, if you're the RB1 on this team, you're not touching the football. It was like the biggest moment. Like, what?
If you
mind-boggling moment. And then they just outright released him and said, we're going to take this guy off the street, Latavius Murray, and here you go.
I may do this for one of our shows. I'm going to go back and look at the starters and co-starters who ended up jobless during the season, because it's insane.
Benjamin out of a job. Darrell Henderson out of a job. Melvin Gordon out of a job. Chase Edmonds out of a job. Yeah. It's unbelievable how many guys were, and especially at the running back position, that were cut or traded.
Yeah,
just in the middle of the year. It was baffling to me.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about most of the grievances today. My biggest one is Keenan Allen's hamstring. That's the biggest one. And he's like top 15 in fantasy points per game, but he finished wide receiver 48.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because he missed 9 weeks?
Yeah, he played 9 games this season. There were guys who played a full 16 that are around his area, and it's Keenan Allen is so good, and
he is going to get faded so hard in fantasy.
So hard. Yep. And I can't wait, because
that's the whole thing, is because when aging players get hurt, their recovery time takes long. I mean, just look at Julio Jones in Tampa. He's been battling this knee issue all season, and he's been in and out. But we saw him start to fade last year when he moved on to Tennessee, and it's like people were still hyping up Julio Jones this year. Oh, he's with Tom Brady. He's going to be like, dude, he's older. These injuries that typically some players can play through when they're 25, 26, 27. They're a lot harder to play through when you're 31, 32, or 33. And this is that age range where Keenan Allen is getting up there. He's still going to be productive when he plays, but these nagging injuries that players can get over quickly, they're going to take a little longer for him.
I'm ready to be hurt by Keenan Allen again.
I know you are.
1,000%.
1,000%. He's a 20-point machine every game. What do you mean?
It's great that Joe and I don't play in a single redraft league together, so we won't even be fighting each other over
No, because I know if Ryan was there, I need to take Keon Allen in the second round.
Yeah.
Like against my will, I would need to. Real quick for George's question, and then we'll get to Evan. We'll wrap it up. Is Thielen kind of a bust this year? How about this? Adam Thielen's ADP before the season, 30. He finished 30.
For 30. So by rule, no.
By rule, no. Literally, he was exactly where the ADP consensus where he was being drafted.
He just wasn't what he was doing last year, but you can't always expect that. So.
708 yards, 5 touchdowns on 68 receptions.
Yeah, his
I
touchdowns.
will say I was going to say very disappointed in the touchdowns just because we've seen him be so effective in the red zone for this team.
Yeah,
but I kind of feel like, but even then Jefferson only has like 8 touchdowns this year.
Yeah,
for as good as he's been, like, and that was kind of my biggest thing with Jefferson when we were doing our projections, and you know, like I had him projected for all these yards and you know all these catches and all these targets, but I think I only had him at like 10 touchdowns. And you know, when we were talking with Chris, who one of our writers was, you know, big on the Cooper Kupp train, and Cooper Kupp was having a great season before he got hurt. And it was like, you know, for me, like for Justin Jefferson to truly leap over Cooper Kupp, he has to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Jefferson really has not been a touchdown guy in this league.
I don't know how many of Hutchinson's touchdowns came while he was with the Vikings.
I can pull that up and tell
Looks
you.
like 3. It's pretty easy. It's
3. 3. Just something I want to bring up real quick. Devontae Adams had the quietest 1,400 yard and 14 touchdown season ever in NFL history. And you want to know why that is? He caught about 55% of his targets. 95 receptions, 171 targets. Only guy higher is Justin Jefferson at 179. Imagine if Devontae catches 30 more pass attempts, he'll be basically the same as Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
With 14 touchdowns, 6 more than Justin Jefferson. He would literally need 200 targets to get the same amount of receptions as Justin Jefferson. That is the quietest 323-point fantasy season on record.
And it's been those absolute dud games that he has had. Like,
yes,
he has truly been, you know, we used to talk all the time about Tyreek Hill and KC, about how he was this big boomer bust guy. That has been what Devontae Adams has
this
been.
year.
And it's like, so unexpected because it was
he's
never
put up
that
these
way
like
before.
1.5, 3.5, 5.5 point games, like interspersed throughout the entire season. And then it's like, boom, 35 points, 37 points, 29. Like, it's been such an up and down season for him. Like, and these are years, like, we've never seen that type of roller coaster from Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest switch with Tyreek Hill, obviously, I think they were like, and this is something I think I was a little wrong on here. They still used Waddle a lot in that offense, but I expected it to be, you know, Tyreek Hill is going to be running deep and Tua's not going to be able to get him the football. They used Tyreek Hill everywhere on the field, which is what I was
truly
wrong
was
about.
their wide receiver one.
Yeah, they used him everywhere in the field, which is what I was wrong about. They still used him as a deep threat, and there were times where literally Tua couldn't get him the ball down the field. But they, like in the first game against New England, he didn't have a catch more than 20 yards down the field. Everything was within literally the first down line. Everything was within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. So they weren't throwing the ball too deep to him. He had 165 targets most of his career, 117 receptions most of his career. You go back to 2020, 135 targets, caught 87 of them. 2018, 137 targets, caught 87 of them. There's times where he's not catching as many passes compared to his targets, stuff like that. This motherfucker had like a 75% catch percentage this year. He's never had that in his career, which is why he's the wide receiver too.
Yeah.
You always saw Tyreek Hill down the field in the Chiefs offense. Even when he was running drags, he was 15, 20 yards down the field. Miami was using him everywhere, which I thought was going to be the Jalen Waddle role, and they still used both guys everywhere.
Yeah, they basically said, we are going to get the ball in the hands of our best players. And that was their entire
whether it be 50 yards down the field or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And kudos to Mike McDaniels for doing that. But
I wish more offensive coordinators were that fucking smart. Let me just tell you.
I mean,
use your best players the way they're supposed to be used.
Right? It's not rocket science.
they're 8-8 still, but yes, I agree with you. He's done what most
Well, a
people
lot of
think
that
is
has
obvious.
been to the detriment of the offensive line and how much they love getting their quarterbacks killed.
I mean, they
their fault.
they've had 5-game losing streak and 2 was a part of 3 of them. So cold weather games. Evan, last question. Rough RB situation: Barkley, ETN, Ramondre, Pacheco, Alexander Madison. Feels like he obviously can't start Barkley. There's no real reason for Barkley to play this week. So yes,
he's not playing.
ETN, Ramondre have rough matchups. Any world where we start Pacheco. So I want to bring up, I don't think ETN is a rough matchup. I don't think Tennessee is a good defense. They're actually the 3rd worst defense in the NFL. So I love ETN. I think you start ETN. Do not bench Ramondre Stevenson.
Correct. I was gonna say, I hope you're not going anywhere with this.
In a must-win game for New England, which I pray to every god above, whatever denomination you think of, the Patriots get railed tomorrow. I do not want them making the playoffs. There is no reason. They gain nothing from making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ramondre has to be a big part of them actually winning the game tomorrow. And we've seen, yes, Buffalo is a solid run defense, but there are countless amounts of times where Buffalo has bad days on the ground.
Yeah.
Awful days on the ground. If Matt Milano is not sticking it in the backfield, they are not a good run defense.
So they just got torched by Raheem Mostert a few weeks ago. So
there's so many times where Buffalo, you say it's the Buffalo defense, it's vaunted. Buffalo's defense is not that good. It is not as good as you think, right? Obviously, the loss of DeMar Hamlin, that is a tragic incident. He had the 2nd most defensive snaps on the team. They're down to their 3rd string safety at that position because Micah Hyde was gone. DeMar Hamlin fills in. Now his backup has to fill in for DeMar Hamlin.
Yep. Jordan
Poyer's there. Tre'Davious White's had a terrible season. They don't have a secondary. Their number 1 defensive threat is Matt Milano, and he's a run stuffer.
Yeah.
If Milano's not on, Buffalo's defense is not very good. I think ETN and Ramondre Stevenson are fantastic.
Yep.
Do not start Pacheco. That he is an absolute scrub. Isaiah Pacheco is a scrub. In that offense, he's a scrub. I think in an offense that would actually run the football more and utilize him more and not throw the ball to Jerick McKinnon would be good. But in that offense, Pacheco's essentially a scrub.
Yeah.
And George says Mike Gesicki has to get out of Miami. Yeah, there was a stat that he had half of the amount of targets he's averaged in his career. So over his career, he's averaged, I think, somewhere like in the mid-60s. He had somewhere like 33 targets this year or something like that. He was non-existent.
I think he had 2 usable games, which is not usable at fantasy tight end. So
no, not at all. And it's crazy because I think I don't think Tua is a big tight end guy, but Gesicki's 6'6", athletic.
Yep. They really leaned on their running backs this year.
But someone could use that. And you'd think Mike McDaniel coming over from San Francisco with George Kittle. Now, Mike Gesicki's not George Kittle, but he's an athletic tight end. Kind of shocking. But yes, Gesicki does need to get out of Miami. All right, gents. What a good show. I honestly completely forgot this was a 2-hour show. I'm not going to lie to you. Completely forgot. Showed up and Josh was like, yeah, we have someone on it at 12:45. I was like, oh, I didn't think this was a 2-hour show. So I completely forgot.
Well, it's turning into a 2.5-hour show. So.
2.5-hour show. Shut up, Josh. Well, everyone, I would say good year, see you next year, but we'll just see you in 5 days because we don't stop. Yeah. So over the next 4 weeks of January, we are essentially going back and we're breaking down 8 teams each week. And essentially, how well did we do? Did we fuck up? Did we call it right? Did we call it wrong? Did we undervalue people? Did we overvalue people? I mean, a slew of that. So we're going through essentially 8 teams over the next 4 weeks, basically all the way through January. First show before the Super Bowl is going to be our basically Super Bowl props and bet show, which is a lot of fun. Then obviously after the Super Bowl, probably recap that a little bit. And then we jump right into our stars of tomorrow, which goes right into free agency, which goes right into the NFL draft. And then we're right back to the look inside with each and every team. We don't stop. We don't, because, well, you know, I don't like these guys, but they allow me to speak on air freely with no FCC regulation. So, no, we'll be here Wednesdays. No more Saturday shows. Those are gone. No more, at least for the time being, no IDP shows on Thursdays. That's all gone. The only ones we will consistently have going are going to be, no pun intended, on Wednesdays. And if you're a Golf DFS fan, it'll be our Golf DFS show on Tuesdays, 8:30. Well, 8:30 for me, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, we just call everything Eastern, with Kelly and Phoenix. And then also every other week is going to be Her Story in the Making. Next one is this week or two? Next one
next week. So we had to essentially, we pushed back Kelly's show. So
that's what I thought. Okay.
On schedule.
So I was like, we just had one this week. Makes sense. Her Story this week, and every other week, Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 7:30 Central.
We're doing a special Mock It Like It's Hot on Monday. This coming up. Cool. We're basically going to do a way too early 2023 redraft mock draft. And then after that week, we'll continue Monday's Anxiety throughout the fantasy playoffs, or not the playoffs, excuse me, the NFL playoffs, the real playoffs. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to structure those shows, but we'll have some fun with it, because it'll be venting and exactly what Anxiety is for us. So
George is going to miss it once it's all done. So. All right.
Sorry, we'll take a little bit of time off from there and then jump back into Mock It Like It's Hot over the offseason.
Yep.
So,
all right. For Josh at the One Hudsonian, Ryan at the Fantasy 5, Faith at FF_Leap of Faith, the million guests that we had on today, and for myself at Joe_Zollo. Thank you, every person. I mean, I would venture to say,
yeah, thanks to everybody who rode with
150 comments in here, like minimum. We appreciate every single one of you. We hope you guys stay with us throughout the off season. I mean, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. That is everything for the 2022 fantasy football season, essentially. For those that are playing Week 18, good luck. I wish you luck and hope you win this. Yep, find a new league or convince them to not play in Week 18. And if your team's in the NFL playoffs, congratulations. If they're not, maybe next year, unless you're a Texans fan, maybe next year. But good NFL season, kind of. We're excited for next year. We're excited to get into the offseason. I know free agency time is going to be a lot of fun. Always remember, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football, and we will see you, not next week, but we'll see you every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern.